So, all right. So up here in just a couple of minutes, we're going to call Tom and do that, I guess. And then after that, we have Allyn teaching soldering.
Oh, no.
So you guys don't have to sit up here for this one if you want. If you want to go take a break or whatever for a little bit, you're welcome to do so.
Yeah, I probably need to get the solder stuff ready, actually.
Yeah, go start finding all that.
What?
Uh-oh. Just muting you.
Yep. Muting people before we
Before we accidentally turn off microphones and blow everybody's ear holes out.
I only did it
before we go off
once.
screen and disrobe.
Also, good news. John Calipari's son is going to be a walk-on at the University of Kentucky, guaranteeing that his father will coach for the University of Kentucky for at least 4 more years.
Or maybe he won't want to be accused of
Nepotism.
Yeah, nepotism.
I don't know what that means.
Walk away. Like favoring family.
That's not how that works. People favor family in basketball all the time.
Yes,
that's
but
how Saul Smith played for us for so long.
It is called nepotism.
I get
That
it.
is the term.
Yep, PCPro.com/SOL contest for the contest, PCPro.com/SOL if you just want some information on what we're doing, like why we're here, and why have we been streaming for 6 hours?
I should visit that URL.
You should figure that out too, Ken. Yeah. And then, like I said, here just a couple minutes, we'll call up Tom. Ken, do you want to reframe this camera shot or not?
No, I want you to look alone.
Oh.
Yeah. Keep it wide. And wait, make it wider. So he's just very small. Everybody just left Brian.
This is very sad. Let's see how cold it is at my house.
I think this should just be a 12-hour stream of something that takes 12 hours being made on the 3D printer.
It's an 8-hour print, so we're pretty close.
I want you to know it's up to 64 degrees at my house now.
Nice. Does that mean your furnace kicked on?
No,
warm enough.
it means it was sunny out today.
Oh, okay. I bet your dogs appreciate this.
Yeah. How cold did I say it got today? 59?
I don't know.
I think it just got down to 59.
I have time to run the microwave before he goes on.
Sure, why not?
Biohazard, we can always answer such deep philosophical questions like why are we here? Yes, as Jeremy points out, don't forget patreon.com/PCPer. We appreciate anybody who sees our goods, our stuff here.
I did not sign on.
That was earlier in the show, to be fair. Yes, my furnace is broken. Correct. And I'm kind of at this point where I've had a technician come out and fix it every year for like the last 3 years, but still replacing the whole thing is like an $8,000 to $9,000 thing, so I don't want to do that.
Could it be that much?
Because furnaces are expensive and labor is expensive.
All right. We can do it.
No. And
Just no.
no.
Absolutely not.
And I also don't want to pay them anymore to repair stuff. Like, it's aggravating the crap out of me. So I ordered a part that I think is what's wrong with it, but it won't be here till Tuesday. If Ryan Schraub chugs a beer, I will sign on to Patreon. Dr. Doolittle, stick with us until the 10 o'clock hour or so.
It's tap. You have to have a beer.
You own this TV station. You can drink beer now.
That's true. If you want to give me a beer, you can give me a beer. What do you got in there?
A variety. You probably don't want like a stout.
I like. Is it like what kind of
Stout is great.
Give them that can.
Uh-oh.
It is a raspberry stout. It's pretty
Okay.
good.
It says the word cacao on it, so you know it's good.
Ah, it's from Mad Tree. I like Mad Tree stuff.
Yeah.
How much chug was that?
I'm not chugging it.
Give me a minute. I'm gonna.
Yes, it is a
use
gas
the
furnace, and no,
facilities.
we're not going to replace it ourselves. Okay. Bio. Hurry up. We're cutting into Tom's time. He's got a hard out at 7.
Those are definitely preferable to hard ons.
Somebody's username in this chat is Shrout at the Devil, which is actually pretty good. It's pretty good.
Another perspective title.
And people think if I'm a mean drunk, I'm going to beat Ken.
I would just say probably verbal abuse. every time. All the time.
Yes, Dr. Doolittle's every dollar counts. All right, so if you can't see the schedule on the left-hand side there, we've got Tom here. We'll have a 15-minute break where Sebastian, we make him do dances. Allyn's going to teach soldering. We're going to do some racing with Josh. We'll do some more giveaways. We've got Jacob from EVGA on. We're going to do a Steam gaming controller challenge with me and Ken. We've got Patrick Norton as our last guest, and then we'll end it up with a riveting game of Risk on the computer. All right, if he's available, give him a call.
Let's try it.
Let's do it. I am also excited about the Steam controller competition.
Hey, boys.
Hey,
What's going on?
how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
I know you've got your heart out. We've got all this. We've got it laid out. I've got you. We've got 42 minutes with you.
Wow, that sounds like plenty of time. I'm just happy to be here. You guys have been having a great time. I've enjoyed the whole thing. It's my first time watching as much of your streaming as I've done today.
Well, okay, two things. One, you're sounding a little bit echoey again. Let's move the mic
Ooh,
back to where you were
okay.
at before.
Hold on. How's that?
Do it again.
Is that better?
Is he supposed to speak into the top of it or the side of it?
The side of it.
You're supposed to speak
Okay, how about
into the
that?
side of it.
Better?
That's better. A little bit.
Way better?
Not particularly.
Not way better.
Okay, hold on. How about that?
There we go.
There we go.
That's the stuff.
That's much better.
That's good bass. That's good bass.
So how you been? So let me hold on, people maybe just signing in. Everybody, this is Tom Petersen from NVIDIA. He does some stuff there. He's been a frequenter of our live streams in the past, usually talking about specific hardware or specific features that they're introducing today. No such specificity, if you will. Just 45 minutes with our friend Tom.
Who knows what, right? We could talk about this brand new mic that you're teasing me about. I mean, I went so far as to get a mic, and you're teasing me about it the first thing? Jesus.
Maybe we should also tease you about your internet connection because it just is got a little crunkly there. But there you go, we're better.
Please stand by. Please stand by.
No, you're good now.
I'm good now?
I mean,
okay.
Stop whatever downloads you have going in the background, I guess.
Okay, please stand by. I think I'm stopping streaming. That should do everything.
Okay, that's good. So what did you think so far? We've been streaming 6 hours and 15 minutes.
I actually think you guys are doing a great job. I mean, I think the content's pretty good, and I think the gaming was fun. Coonrad did great, and I like the format. And I'm excited to see you, kind of helping the Patreon site. So it's all good.
Good. Glad to hear. I'm always interested in feedback here. So let's talk about some stuff. What's going on over at NVIDIA? What are you guys doing?
Well, we're getting, we're busy. It's a very good time. PC gaming's doing great, and we're having a great time at NVIDIA. We, of course, are working on our next big thing. So that's consuming everybody. We always are innovating, and we're always creating the next great platform to help PC gaming along. So that's what we're doing full time.
I will go ahead and tell the chat room, if you guys have specific questions for Tom, put them in the chat room, but add Ryan Shrout to that so I'll see it pop up through my list here. And anything that I think is funny enough to ask him, I'll go ahead and do so.
Fantastic.
So let's see. What can I ask about it specifically here? So I know you're not going to tell me anything about Pascal. You're not going to tell me anything about time frames for Pascal, right? Or can you?
You are correct.
What if I ask really nicely? Can you tell us when the first Pascal GPUs will be out?
That is an excellent question, and I cannot talk about that right now. Obviously, that would be a big mistake on my part. I'm sure I get a call right after I hang up with you.
Probably during.
Probably during.
Probably get a call during.
Probably a very short call.
You're fired. Click.
Thank you for your time at NVIDIA. It's been great. Not that great, but yeah.
So, okay, let me ask you this. A lot of our discussion, we had Ben Kuchera from Polygon on our stream today. We just got off the phone, off Skype with David Hewlett, and a lot of our talk was around VR stuff, right? So, and I know that from NVIDIA's point of view, you guys are excited about what VR is because it puts a higher emphasis on GPU technology. So you're going to sell more graphics cards, you're going to sell more higher-end graphics cards. But how do you guys view the VR market currently? Are you targeting a specific, I don't know, like, do you think the 970 requirement is too low? Do you think the 970 requirement is too high for like minimum specs on these systems? Or do you think realistically people need to aim a little bit above those?
Well, I think first of all, VR is pretty cool. I mean, I've done a million of the demos, and I know you have, and it does give a lot of value, and I think it's going to be important for computing going forward. And I think it's going to be big in gaming, but probably bigger in other non-gaming applications that we don't even know of yet, because it's just that disruptive. It changes the way you may process information in the future. So I'm pretty excited about what could happen with VR. I'm still, I'm still a wait and see kind of guy still. So I want to see it really happen, get the headsets out there and see how they're accepted by consumers. But the experience for me has been great. Now, related to 970, our challenge is to deliver a great experience on a VR headset. That means you need to have a certain amount of frames per second, usually 90 frames per second in each eye. So you need a fairly beefy GPU to do that. And I know 970 is the min spec. But what we're doing is working on technologies that will hopefully make VR specific accelerations so that you can get a better experience for VR further down in the stack. So VR is unique in the sense that, most of what you're looking at on the screen, there's two images, but there's some leverage that you can do between the computation for each image. So when you step back and think about if you're going to design a GPU for VR from scratch, there's some optimizations that you can make.
Right.
So I'm excited about that. That's I think going to change the level and how low down the stack you can go. Now I'm all for selling big GPUs that allow even more great technology to be in VR games, and that's going to obviously continue to be a focus.
It was interesting when we were talking with Ben. I brought that up, the idea that in my kind of VR system build mentality, I'm kind of urging people to go higher than a 970 if they can possibly afford it. Right? Go higher than a 970, go higher than a 390, whatever it is. Go above that, because you don't want your initial experience at VR to be anything less than perfect, because it can sour you on the technology. If frame rates dip and you get a little nauseous or whatever it happens to be, you get a headache. He mentioned something interesting about, a lot of these early games and these early demos. And I think he said he's got an HTC Vive at his house, and the early access stuff has about like 28 different demos that he's tried. And the most part, they're not right now trying to have incredibly detailed textures, incredibly, detailed worlds, like kind of what we're used to seeing, games like Rise of the Tomb Raider do, or something like that. And instead, they're okay with flat shaded models or more simplistic, I guess, graphic design.
Absolutely.
But they get away with it because when you're in this kind of immersed world, he said, you just don't even think about it. Like, it's not even something that you're like, oh man, I wish this had better textures, or I wish the shadows were better, because everything you see is just this. And if it's done well, it doesn't have to be kind of the same level of fidelity that we have today on other games.
Oh, that's very true. I think the most important thing about VR today is that you are immersed, right? It's really all about creating that immersive experience. And that requires rapid response to head motion. Your frame rate has to be very high to get that low latency. And you also can't drop frames, because that'll break immersion in a second. So as long as you're getting very low latency and very consistent delivery of frames, that's priority number one. And that really does define the experience. Beyond that, you'd like the game to look good, and you'd like the game to kind of be at the same visual quality that you've come to expect from the real world. But I think, honestly, VR developers don't really want to risk having a poor experience, and they're probably biasing down the complexity of the games to make sure that they hit that first most important characteristic.
Yeah, and I think that's actually a very good idea. Like, I think that's a key thing for these guys to get right. Let me ask you this, because this came up as well. The idea in VR of multi-GPU. How easy or more difficult is it than multi-GPU on standard games today? Is it as simple as, well, you've got one GPU per eye and you're done?
That is by far the easiest model, and that is effectively what we're doing with our VR SLI. Is effectively you can use one GPU for one eye and another GPU for the other eye. Now, of course, there's complexities because sometimes those rendered images want to share state from each other, so you still have to share. You still have to communicate cross GPUs. So it's not as easy as they're completely separate and they're never talking together. So it does have a significant amount of software work to make it work well. But at the end of the day, that's the general idea. One eye for the left, one GPU for the left eye, one GPU for the right eye. Going forward, it'd be great if you could even do more scaling, right? Because if you could somehow split a frame and do two halves on one eye and then two halves on another eye. But honestly, that technology is not very good right now, and it's probably a long way away before you see higher scaling for VR.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let me ask you about some of the stuff that is kind of been controversial in the last week or so.
Excellent.
And I know this is definitely what you love. So first, the Windows Unified, or the unified Windows platform, the whole gaming system there of Microsoft selling games through the store, it changes a lot, right? For games that are sold through that, it, as far as I can tell, breaks G-Sync in some significant ways. It may break how GeForce Experience can interact with the user, whether or not you can capture gameplay, change game settings. Does NVIDIA or you have any kind of views on that, or is it more just we're going to stick to what Steam and Origin and Uplay allow us to do and have allowed us to do for years and years?
No, I think the easiest way to think about this is how new it is, right? And how early in the life cycle of delivering, real tier one games through that platform. So I think there's just some growing pains, and there's things that Microsoft is learning and we're learning as these things start rolling out. So I would expect things to change and become, kind of more friendly, more in the model that you're used to. Of course, it's up to Microsoft. They're gonna have to decide how they want this platform to work for them. But I don't believe that they intentionally are preventing auxiliary stuff from working. Now, there's all kinds of conspiracy theories out there, and but I believe that they're honestly just trying to improve the experience through the store. And if they can, they will, and if they do, they'll be successful. But of course, if they're not successful, then it's kind of irrelevant. So in my mind, I think that it's early, and I would expect most of our technology through a combination of Microsoft and NVIDIA will eventually, hopefully, work for games in the store.
Right. What about just the idea of them not allowing horizontal tearing, not allowing like a true VSync disable? Is that something that you think has the possibility to be an improvement over what people have today, or do you think that kind of the initial guttural reaction, if you will, from the enthusiasts about how dare you take this away from us is valid?
I think that in this case, it's a terribly technically complex subject, right? So I think in my mind, I separate the store from just the general behavior for Windows 12. I'm sorry, for DX12. I think we should probably clarify how that works first and then think about the store. Okay. So in my mind, there's a lot of confusion about how windowed works, how full screen exclusive is working. Is there something new called FlipX and iFlip and all that kind of stuff? So I actually was confused when I started looking into this, and I had a bunch of our GPU guys sit down with me last week actually to talk this through. So I think I can talk coherently about it. We'll see. The first thing is, in my mind, there's always been two main modes for Windows, right? There's this windowed composition mode where a game renders into its local frame buffer, and then the DWM, which is the Windows manager, copies that contents to the final surface that it's going to be scanned out on, right? So that's when you rendered into a place separate, it gets copied to a place that's going to be actually what's scanned from. That's what windowed is, right? Because you got to draw borders on it, you got to do composition, and that mode happens whether it's full screen windowed or whether it's normal windowed, and there's a couple other kind of hybrid modes, and that's been that way for a very long time. Now there's another mode in olden days that's called full screen exclusive, which is kind of avoiding all of that copying and all of that composition. So full screen exclusive is what most of our gamers, most of us play, because it doesn't have some of the negatives associated with that copy and that composition. It has some downsides, obviously, because you're not getting all the benefits of composition and overlays and things. But with full screen exclusive, that's where you can start seeing this tearing, because effectively we are flipping to a new rendered image right in the middle of a scan, and that's not happening on composition.
Right.
On composition, the way it works is the Windows manager on a vsync interval says, hey, what is the last rendered frame game? I'm going to copy it. It's different from the one I'm currently scanning from. So that happens at the end of an interval, and that copy happens. And then the next thing is you won't see that image until the next refresh interval. So there's an added 1 frame interval of latency added just for the composition.
Right.
Now, another way to think about it is, okay, so now you've got these 2 modes. How is it changing today? Well, on Win 10 and DX12, there's a new way of games kind of requesting modes, and it's called FlipX. Some people call it Direct Flip. I'm going to hopefully defer to Microsoft because it's confusing what to call it. I'm just going to call it Direct Flip or iFlip or FlipX. You pick your name, right? So the way it works is it's kind of replacing full screen exclusive, but it's not like you're losing that functionality. There's this new mode that if a game requests it, and all DX12 games will, and your driver supports it, which ours does right now, but not everybody's does. So if your driver supports it and the game requests it, then you go into this sort of hybrid mode where you'll be full screen exclusive behavior, which is called iFlip now, and that'll happen whenever Windows decides that it doesn't need to do composition. So Windows now has its own overlay for the game stuff, and it can sort of know when do I need to do composition. And based on that knowledge, we'll flip in and out of this full screen exclusive sort of emulated mode and what we think of as sort of a composited mode. So iFlip is a way for Microsoft to provide more flexibility in the way they're doing composition. And I think it's actually, at the end of the day, going to be pretty good. So that is a real question of, well, now why do you see the frame patterns that you do on the current DX12 games? So when you look at Ashes on AMD, you're seeing that behavior that looks like vsync on, right? Mm-hmm. So it effectively is doing composition, and the reason FCAT is showing those zeros is because those frames are not actually presented. And if you don't present the frames, from all the frame rating stuff you've done, it's as if they never happened, so you really can't count them for experience. Now, that's not, it's nobody's fault. It's just you're doing composition, and composition drops frames. So I think that's the way I think about it. You got to understand there's this new mode. It's called iFlip, FlipX, Direct Flip. And in this mode, Microsoft is now in charge of determining whether or not composition is happening or not based on all the other stuff that's present in the system.
Interesting. How does this compare to triple buffering?
Orthogonal. Yeah, so think about triple buffering as a way for games to get better performance when they are vsynced. Vsynced has behaviors regardless of whether you're doing compositing. So this gets a little complex, but imagine what vsync is trying to do in-game. It says never drop frames and never tear. Always, right? So you're going to get back pressure through the pipeline that's going to end up slowing down the game engine. The game engine is not going to run any faster than the refresh rate of your monitor when vsync is on. So triple buffering is a way for you to, if you're not able to generate 60 frames a second, it's a way for you to be able to generate those intervals that are not half. With double buffering, you're either going to be flipping between 33 and 16 milliseconds. With triple buffering, you can sustain something in the middle.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that the idea of what Ashes is doing is when they have vsync off, and I think maybe the terminology might need changing on games that use DirectX 12 in that particular mode, because you're not really truly turning vsync off in some cases. But the thing you were talking about where it drops to 0 and you're missing some frames, that only happens on an uncapped vsynced state, I guess, right? Where essentially you can only display 60 frames per second or 60 hertz, but you can render faster than that. And any frames that are rendered before the vsync or whatever, and it has another frame done, kind of get expelled. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it gets complicated, right? Because first of all, irregardless of vsync, when you're compositing, the compositor is probably going to drop frames, right? It's doing its best effort to copy, and it may not copy every rendered frame. right? So when VSync is on, usually it's going to copy it, right? Because usually you're not going to generate frames faster than an interval, and the interval is when the copy is going to happen. So with VSync on, everything ought to work just fine. But you're right, with VSync off, you're going to get into some kind of beat pattern of animation synchronized to the sort of the copy pattern of the data.
Right. And from what I understand from the developers I've talked to and the driver guys I've talked to, in reality, Microsoft really only intends that mode to be for like game profiling, hardware profiling, not really like a consumer end mode, right? Because of the potential introduction of judder from an animation that's not matching your refresh rate, right? I am curious though, how does variable refresh technology like G-Sync get implemented into something like that, right? If the game and the compositing engine doesn't have a fixed refresh to target, or not target, I guess, depending on what it's doing, how do we think that behavior should work or does work?
Well, to me, it's similar to our windowed G-Sync. So right now we do support windowed G-Sync. And what's happening there is effectively we are somehow tricking the Windows manager into thinking that refreshes are happening with a random rate, right? So effectively, the driver is sort of spoofing Windows into thinking that the monitor itself, that refresh is changing. So we can actually sort of act as a little bit of the master in that picture. And that does allow G-Sync to work in windowed mode. Now, I'd expect that similar technology, and I'm not sure right now what the status of that is, but I'd expect something similar to be able to be done with this new mode, right? When you're running windowed or when you're running composited, the rate that the composition is happening could be controlled effectively by the refresh rate, by effectively the render rate.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little funky, but we've done most of the work already for windowed G-Sync, and hopefully, a lot of that'll just transfer over.
Yeah. Maybe in today's market with the DX11 game, full screen G-Sync versus windowed G-Sync, is the driver doing a lot of additional work in windowed G-Sync than it is on full screen? Because in full screen, essentially, the driver's not really doing anything. It's basically just sending frames whenever it can. The module in the monitor kind of handles all of that. Is that the same thing that's occurring in windowed, or is it more complex on the driver side?
It's more complex on the driver side simply because we have to interface with the Windows manager, right, which is doing the composition. So effectively think of it as we need to sort of give a hint to this system when to do compositing, and the compositing needs to happen roughly at the rate of the render, not at the refresh rate.
Gotcha. Do you have any thoughts, or does NVIDIA have any thoughts on kind of the whole multi-adapter thing, the idea of either combining multiple graphics cards from NVIDIA from different generations, or even cross-vendor support? That's not really something you support necessarily. It's more on the game developer to really get into, right?
Yeah, it's I think of that whole topic as explicit multi-GPU for DX12, right? And in that mode, the developer does whatever algorithms they want to take advantage of multiple GPUs or multiple dissimilar GPUs or even multiple different GPUs. Now, that work is generally very low return for the developer because the number of people that have multiple GPUs that are similar performance is extremely low unless they're doing SLI or Crossfire with the same GPUs. So in my mind, I don't expect there to be a ton of development there to make that mode work. I'm not opposed to it. I would just say, similar to Lucid, you alluded to Lucid a while ago. When they came out, my view was, we're not opposing Lucid. We're not against Lucid doing their multi-adapter thing, but we're not going to QA it. And we're not going to spend our resources to make it incredibly good because I know how expensive that is and I know how much work that is. But if a developer, for whatever the reason, wants to make that mode great, I'm all for it. It's kind of cool. It could be fun. And we're not opposed to it. I feel like it is unlikely to be common, right? It's unlikely that large developers that are looking to, grow their market or grow the quality of their game are going to spend their effort doing that, rather than supporting multi-GPU mode.
Right. And then the other multi-GPU mode in DX12 essentially acts like SLI does on DX11?
Yep. So there's an implicit and an explicit. And implicit is back to the mode where NVIDIA is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting. We're going to do the profiling, and we're going to work with the developer to make it friendly for AFR, which is the technique that we use for SLI. So it goes back to that kind of traditional. NVIDIA is willing to invest the money to make that good, and we're happy to do it. But that's because the economics of development in another model don't make a ton of sense.
Right. Quick reminder here for people, we have, let's see, we have three more giveaways to do today. So if you go to pcper.com/SOL contest, and what's that stand for, Tom?
Speed of light.
Close. It's, at least you didn't get the really wrong one. Streaming out loud.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
Until everything.
It's not the last one.
It's not the last one, right? So SOL contest. PCPer.com/SOL contest. There's a little form there. Fill out. Get your entries in. So we'll have that throughout the rest of the evening as well. I'm looking out the front door, and the sun has finally set on us. It's starting to get dark, which means
Are you guys halfway through?
Well, we're 6 hours and 43 minutes in.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, are you doing like a telethon every year where you do a massive every 24 hours, you just go?
It depends. Like, this has been pretty good, right? 24 hours might be a bit much.
Do it.
Well, okay, but you have to man the other 12 hours.
That would be funny. That would be funny.
All right, so I think Andrew Coonrad was giving you some crap on this. I'm going to ask you, what games are you playing right now, Tom?
Again, right now, I'm still, you know what I'm really spending most of my time on? I'm not gaming right this. For the last 3 weeks, I've stopped gaming. And right now, I have gone deep because I'm working on something that I can't talk about right now, but I'm so excited about it. I had to actually learn how to write my own game engine. So what I've been doing most recently, I went through a whole bunch of vector math, had a great time with vector math, and now I am deep into my game engine. So, and it is, I'm just going through this. There's a guy online, Jamie King. If you guys want to check out a great website on how to learn how to design a game engine, he actually walks through it from the very first moment of life until he's completely designed a game engine. There's 200 videos, basically from start to finish, and I've finished 200 videos of how to do a game engine.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're quitting NVIDIA to become your own independent game developer. Is that what I'm hearing?
Not at all. I'm doing it on behalf of the NVIDIA effort.
I see. Well, that's disappointing. I don't have anything. I don't have any way to follow up on that, because I would just ask, "Oh, what are you working on, Tom?"
Hey, what are you doing?
And then you'd say, "Well, I can't really talk about it."
But it's really cool. I am so excited about what's coming up. I've been working on this thing for a couple of years, and I am super excited. It's going to be great. You're going to be blown away. You are. You're going to be blown away.
It's like a buzzkill for the whole stream, right? Oh man, I got this really cool secret.
No. You remember when I think I've probably talked about this with you, but you probably don't remember.
I'm not syncing the two. And obviously, right now, I don't actually want to make the connection, because I may actually say it out loud. And
don't say it out loud.
I don't want to do that.
Good boy. Hey, I like your shirt, by the way. I actually looked at it online, and I was ready to make the purchase, and I called Tracy in here, and I said, "Look at that shirt. I'm going to buy that shirt." She goes, "Baby, it's not for you, babe. Not for you."
No, we could have worn it at the same time, and we would have been twinsies.
Does it come in a men's version?
It comes in an extra large, extra large, and I'm like, it does. It comes in a man's version.
Oh, cool.
Oh man, floral print is my thing. It's just, I tell you what.
By the way, there's a lot of shirts there that are cool too. That's not the only one. That is one of many.
Where did you find the shirt at?
It's on an Amazon store, and there's somebody put in the link in the chat.
Yeah, wow, you were paying attention. That you were watching this whole time.
I told you, dude. I've been watching your thing all day.
Oh man, somebody's got to. So what about Vulkan? Right, you guys were generally known to have probably the best OpenGL implementation in terms of driver support. What about Vulkan support? What can you say about that?
I think Vulkan is going to be great. I mean, it's sort of why wouldn't you do it? You know, we're obviously already we've released our first certified Vulkan driver, and we got great performance, and we're going to continue to invest in making Vulkan as great as it can possibly be. So the way I look at it is, sure, absolutely, Vulkan is going to evolve over time, and we're going to continue to invest to make it great.
All right.
Yeah, that's our thing. You know, invest, make it great.
Invest, make it great. Let's see, what else we got for you? I can't believe you're not playing any games right now. Like that was a whole line of questioning I had laid out here.
Okay, so I am in fact still playing a game that I played. I'm now up over 1,500 hours playing this one game, and I still do dabble in it. So should I tell you what game that is?
Is it Anno?
It is, in fact, still Anno. I got to get off the Anno. Although at where was I? PDX Land.
Yeah.
I was playing the new expansion for, I guess, Legacy of the Void. Totally fun.
Oh, okay. I haven't tried that yet.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Coonrad if he's any good at StarCraft anymore, but I think he's kind of moved on from StarCraft.
No, he's not really any good at video games.
No, I saw him playing the Bash the Guy thing, and he died very quickly.
He did. Even when he was trying to teach me how to play the game. So,
it's so sad. He leaves NVIDIA, and guess what happens? He loses all of his gamer skills.
Does that happen to you, Jesh, too?
You Jesh, never had gamer skills. I love you, brother, but you never had gamer skills. And by the way, happy birthday to you, Jesh, yesterday.
Yesterday. Oh, okay.
Yes,
I was going to say,
yes.
we could have had him on as a special guest. So let me ask you this. You do a lot of different things at NVIDIA. Obviously, you were one of the people behind what G-Sync became. I don't know. Apparently, you've done some other things too. You're apparently
GPU Boost.
GPU Boost. There you go.
G-Sync,
right. You're apparently doing something new now.
I am.
But yet, you also go to PDX Land.
I do.
Yet you also kind of go up there on stage and you like to interact with the gamers and the consumers directly. Why? Why is that? What makes that interesting for you as opposed to what we see from most of these kind of higher level executives, which may be a stretch to call you that.
That's definitely a stretch to call me that.
But they kind of, they stopped doing that. They hate getting.
I
the
have a great
questions.
time doing it. So to me, I think my personality is just, it makes it fun for me to go, talk to a big crowd and sort of have them be excited and having fun together. And since I work for NVIDIA, which is, got some resource, I can go out there and I can give away stuff to people that just love it. Now, who wouldn't do that, right? That's just a ton of fun. And I also learn things. So when I go out to, say, Portland, and I'm with Matt, he's going to sit down, he's going to tell me what are the problems he's having, what does he wish the graphics cards are doing that, what does he wish that we could do differently? And a lot of the ideas that I get that we take to market, that we build technology around, have come from gamers, right? It's you cannot solve problems for gamers unless you are with gamers, right? So that's what I do.
And you've done that for us. You've come to QuakeCon. Hopefully you'll be coming back with us this August as well. Now that hopefully, I'm pretty sure my wife won't be having any additional children in the summer time frame.
Last time I was out there was a busy day.
It was.
It was a very busy day.
It was. Tom happened to, maybe it was your fault, because Tom was out here visiting with us, and then my wife went in the hospital to have a baby. That very day.
Yeah.
I guess I could kind of blame you.
Sure.
I'm getting screamed at a lot in the chat to ask you about open source, NVIDIA extending support for open source drivers. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know exactly the claims here. I don't know if they're just talking about more open on the Linux side or greater support for open source type stuff like Vulkan and all OS levels. What are your comments to that?
Well, I can tell you that I love open source stuff. I think everybody does, because it allows the community to collaborate and communicate and kind of contribute to make things better. Now, in the case of our driver, we're kind of put between a rock and a hard place. We have technology that we think is proprietary, that we've spent a long time developing and building, and it's embodied in our software driver. That's what our DX driver is, and that's what, it comes to you in binary form because there's sensitive IP in that piece of technology. So if we open source it, meaning that we put all of the proprietary code out in the public, obviously we're going to lose the benefit for all of that investment, and we'll be less likely to continue to invest in that in the future. So we're kind of torn. We can either put out a closed driver in the sense that it's a binary that you can't kind of look inside and see all the secrets, or we would have to nerf it, right? We'd have to take out that IP in a public source driver. So I think that's the tension, right? It's not that we don't like open source. We love open source, and it's good for the, it's good for the universe. But we also simultaneously have to protect our IP, which is what helps us grow our company and reinvest in gaming. I think the question could also be related to GameWorks, and when you think about open and GameWorks, people are commenting that, well, if NVIDIA would just make all the GameWorks stuff open and free, then everybody could benefit more from that. And it's a misunderstanding of the investment that's required to do that kind of stuff. We have over 300 senior engineers that are developing algorithms that get embodied and baked into our GameWorks software, and we basically take care of all the hard work. It comes out as effectively a middleware. And it's totally optional. People don't have to use it. But if we didn't do it, it would not get done. So it's again that kind of tension of we're going to invest in IP and we're going to make it better and better and better, and we're going to help game guys use that technology for the benefit of PC gaming if we can.
And what about how does this? It may not apply to this anything specific, but people are talking about Vulkan support being pushed back into older generations of architecture like Fermi. And apparently some slides came out that originally said it would go back that far, but maybe now newer slides are coming out that say they don't support, will not go back that far. Do you know anything on that?
I don't know the specific issue on which GPUs are going to be supported for Vulkan. I assume that just like most of our tech, if we can take a technology and roll it backwards, we generally do. And it's if we're not rolling it back, usually it's because there's a technological challenge associated with an earlier GPU. So in this case, I don't know the details of what would make Vulkan harder or easier, but that's generally the rationale.
All right. Let's see. I'm looking through here. Nothing else pops out to me on the question side. So let me ask you this: what changes next on display technology?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that HDR is coming, right? And HDR, for those of you guys that don't know, it allows us to show higher luminance, right? That's brightness, higher brightness and contrast. But it also allows wider gamuts, which is deeper reds and deeper blues and you can kind of see the true colors of flowers and things. So HDR, it can be pretty compelling, but there is a bunch of work. And I mean a bunch of work that has to happen in the content development pipeline and also on the display side. So HDR is coming to TVs first. And obviously, that's going to be very good for enabling the ecosystem. And then shortly after that, I hope to see HDR monitors that would effectively allow content developers to take advantage of those expanded gamuts and show vivid, beautiful blacks and whites and colors on PC gaming. I think that's going to be very, very cool. Now, there's other concepts that are out there, but I don't think they're close to making it to market anytime soon. HDR, I think, is going to be certainly coming in the next year, and you'll see us starting to do more and more and more with HDR technology. Hopefully, I believe, very, very soon.
Gotcha.
But I'm excited, by the way, about all the other technology that can be applied to monitors. You're seeing higher and higher resolutions. You're seeing, better display technologies, and I think that's going to continue. And by the way, I still think that none of that stuff was really happening before we kind of kickstarted the monitor market with G-Sync. So I'm excited about how that sort of helped sort of say, hey, you can actually, there's a big market here, and now monitor guys are pretty excited about it again.
Yeah, other than see resolution increases, I guess you're right. Before VRR and G-Sync, it was fairly stagnant.
Pretty quiet.
If you look at a game like Ashes, what we've talked about a little bit earlier, they implement asynchronous shaders. Obviously, AMD makes a big deal about supporting asynchronous shaders. NVIDIA has said publicly that it's not enabled in their drivers that are out there yet. Is that something that's going to come to Maxwell GPUs still? Or is that a Pascal GPU thing?
I can't give you any more data right now on our plans for that kind of technology. I'm just going to let that happen when it happens. But I do want to talk a little bit about DX12 and the performance that we're seeing right now. There are a lot of people who are making claims about how we may or may not be advantaged or disadvantaged. I can assure you that for DX12, it's very, very early days. And I suspect, and I'm pretty sure, that you're going to see very, very comparable performance situation on DX12 that we've seen earlier. And I hope that as more titles become available, users and reviewers will begin to see a bigger trend, really. We have a huge development team. We have a huge QA team that's working on DX12 and working on the performance for DX12 to make sure that we remain world class, and that's where we're going.
All right. Now, I know you have a hard out. You have a dinner date that you need to.
You know what? Attend. I do, but Drew canceled on me, so he is evidently sick tonight.
No.
So yeah, I'm still gonna hard out. You can kick me out anytime, but I'm not going to dinner.
I'm a little sad now. Like I can't believe you got dumped on your dinner date.
I did. I got dumped. And if Drew, you're watching, you should feel about that.
It's funny because we had David Hewlett on, and he had the flu and literally drug himself out of the bed to do the stream against his wife's wishes in order to do the stream. So there's that.
That's dedication. That's dedication. And you bring that out in people, Ryan Shrout. You do.
I definitely do. Do you have any questions? What would you ask the community? Like if you were to ask people watching now, or the people that will watch this later, because I'm sure there will be tens of thousands of people that will rewatch the entire 12-hour live stream.
Of course.
When we put it up on YouTube. What would you want to ask them? Like what do you want to know personally, or what do you guys, as NVIDIA, as a company, want to know?
Well, you know what I actually am very interested in right now is, at what point do you notice things? So there's a large variation in people, in humans, for what they can notice. And I'm talking about things like, well, at what point in terms of duration of a stutter do you notice it? Like for you, I bet you would say, Ryan, that you can tell a stutter when you see it, but do you realize, you look at these frame charts all the time, and they're showing these little wiggly lines. Which ones can you see and which ones can't you see? And that's going to vary by human. So one thing I'm very curious about is, what is bad in terms of stutter, and at what point can humans tell? And the second thing I'm also very curious about is latency. So similar to stutter, you would kind of say, what's the, how much delay can a human being sense? How much can you see, and how much can you feel before it becomes a problem? And I have some numbers in my head. I'd be curious, what I'd really like to do is sample 10,000 gamers and get real data on that.
It sounds like a difficult process to do, to sample 10,000 gamers.
It does. But I might put an app out for that, right? Because you can imagine that I could probably do an app that would have some fixed frames, some fixed frame patterns, and allow people to, rate each experience on a 1 to 10, and then automatically update me.
Yeah,
so
that's a good idea.
It's certainly possible.
Yeah. I mean, do you think, is that latency question more involved towards like normal mouse keyboard stuff, or specifically to like VR latency?
It's everything. I mean, obviously, it's critical for VR latency, and I think we know the number for VR is actually very, very low, and lower is better. But for normal gaming, it varies a lot based on game type and also the type of gamer that you are. So latency is a critical characteristic for desktop PC gaming as well as VR, and it's just something that I'm really fascinated to look at more over time. So this idea of putting out an app that might can up some experiences and let people give us feedback directly, that could be pretty cool.
All right. So are you going to come out and visit us here anytime soon to do any more live streams coming up?
We are. We're going to come out soon.
You got any dates for us?
Soon.
All right. If I didn't ask,
Allyn, I want to see him there. I want Ken to be there. I want everybody to be there. I'm going to take you guys out to dinner. It's going to be fun.
What about my daughter? Can she come to dinner?
Yes, of course. I got to meet your daughter, and I got to say hi to Kelly. See, I haven't seen Kelly in like a year, so
that's
totally
true.
Come out.
That's true. Yeah. Except on that phone call yesterday, which was.
By the way, how do you like your autopilot?
It works really well. After that call, it ended up raining really hard, and then the camera had issues seeing the lane markers, so you had to actually drive the car.
Wow. See, that's a downside.
I know.
Of the pilot.
I know.
Let's say you're leaning back in your chair and you're drinking a Bud Light, heading down to watch Kentucky basketball, and it starts raining.
Well, one, you're not allowed to do that.
Okay.
And two, it's actually, they tell you that you're supposed to keep your hands on the wheel regardless.
Okay.
So there is that. Like they're very careful about how they're wording things for things like autopilot, for sure.
Yeah. Well, just on that topic in general, I got to tell you, I am excited about some of the stuff we're doing on deep learning, and if you get a chance, definitely tune into GTC coming up. You're going to see a whole lot more. Last year was almost entirely about deep learning, and this year is again going to be very, very heavy into deep learning, which is effectively what allows us to do self-driving cars and augmented cars and learning algorithms for driving. It's a very exciting field, and I think there's a lot to be done there.
You should tell your marketing staff, your event staff, to not schedule GTC at the same time as the Final Four.
Oh my God, is that right? Did we do that?
Yeah, the Monday of GTC is the championship game.
Oh my God, do you know when the keynote is? When's Jensen keynote? Please, it's not like at the same time.
I think it's like Tuesday morning.
Okay, all right. So
I think
after
like that. Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to get in until after, right? This is obviously this is all like this is a different conversation. All kinds of assumptions.
Are you
on
coming?
How,
Are you coming to GTC?
I don't know yet.
Wow. For basketball, Jesus.
It's not just basketball.
All right.
It's my basketball.
We make our own choices, buddy.
I do. So, well, if you don't have dinner plans tonight, maybe you join us a little bit later tonight. We're going to play some Counter-Strike on the stream. Where
I might.
Ken has to use a Steam controller, and I get to use a mouse and keyboard, and we're going to see who kills who more often. Right? Because Ken thinks so lowly of my gaming capability that he thinks that's.
Wow, he thinks he can beat you. Is Ken there?
Yeah, he's running. Who do you think's running all this stuff?
All right, so Ken, you think you can beat Ryan with a controller?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Not just a controller,
down.
a Steam controller.
Hands down.
Like he's had maybe a couple of hours of practice with that.
Now, Ken, you got to use the little trackpad, right? You can't use the.
Yep.
Wow. I don't know. Ryan does suck, but that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
We'll see.
We'll see. Tom, thank you.
Is my connection really bad, or is it okay?
You go in and out. You have like every handful of minutes, it would garble up, and then it would take 15 seconds for it to get back up to speed.
Interesting. Okay, well I'm going to check that.
You should run. What's the? Is it a trace route to us, maybe, or something like that?
No, Skype's all centralized now.
Skype's all centralized.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but it's almost like I don't know what internet company you have.
I'll check it out.
Out there,
I'll check it out.
But
I don't want to throw them under the bus, whoever they are.
You might want to, but I mean, if it's a cable company, go for it.
Here's the thing: I've got such new gear here. My fancy microphone here. Does everybody see the fancy microphone?
Yeah.
Look at that. All for you, brother.
Tom, people in there were commenting. Tom went out and bought a webcam and a microphone so that he could be at a decent quality state for us on the stream. Because he was using, I threw you under the bus earlier, Tom, because
I can't believe you said that. I watched it while you were throwing me under the bus. You know that.
Using a stick mic. And then did it have compact on it? Does it have compact on the stick mic?
Wait a second. It's a Logitech.
Oh,
Tell you, Jesh. Hold on.
It's a Logitech stick mic? I didn't know that company ever made stick mics. What is he doing?
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
See, it's not bad.
Yeah, it is.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure that if you asked Jesh all about this or Coonrad, they give you a good.
That was way before their time.
Yeah, I thought it was hot shit with that thing.
All right, man. Well, we're gonna get off here. We're gonna go to coming up next. By the way, Tom, if you want to learn how to solder, Allyn is gonna teach us how to solder. So
that might be worth watching.
He's
Allyn,
pretty
do you
good.
know how to solder? Do you actually know what you're
Allyn
doing?
learned to solder from the Navy nuclear program, so I think he's pretty good at it.
Well, I saw you guys are doing the orange over there. Is this all tied into the orange?
No, this is a random 3D print that people are guessing what it is in the chat. Some people have gotten it right, I think, thus far.
It's obviously an orange, right? It's clearly an orange.
It's clearly an orange. It is clearly orange in color. I'll give you that. That's a problem.
Oh, by the way, I want to thank you because I learned something today. The whole idea that you have these dissolvable meshes on the inside of those things, that's cool.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Okay. Yeah,
I did not know
even
that.
I knew that.
Water-soluble mesh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very exciting.
It is. All right, Tom, we'll talk to you soon. I'll text you when we're going to do our Counter-Strike gaming if you want to get in. Also, we're going to do racing games, but if I don't know if you play Dirt Rally or Project Cars at all.
Yeah, with a controller.
Yeah, we can play with controller. We have lots of people play the controller. We've got our Logitech racing wheels here we're going to use. But
that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Yeah. Well, I might check in with Tracy, right. And we'll see. I'm not really sure what our plans are for the night, but if I am in fact idle, I might want to play some Counter-Strike just to watch you lose.
You can do that too. All right.
All right, see you, man.
Bye, Tom.
Take care.
All right, everybody. Fun as always, Tom Petersen. Quick reminder here, patreon.com/PCPer. If you think what we're doing is cool, it's fun, if you want to reward us for 7 hours and 6 minutes straight of streaming, patreon.com/PCPer. It means we have less than 5 hours left in our total live stream. I'm a little sad by that. Maybe we just keep going. 1 a.m., 2 a.m., see who passes.
Well, we have
out
to go
first.
until we finish the game of Risk.
We have to finish the game of Risk. All right, so we're gonna bring Allyn over here to set up his thing. You want to sit in this seat or you want to sit in that seat?
Probably that seat.
In my seat? Okay, so I'm going to disconnect my microphone here. And Sebastian, are you awake?
Yes.
Over there? You want to entertain the people for 5 minutes while... You can sit there if you want.
Yeah,
We've got to
sit there.
Sit there, just turn on your mic. And
the transmitter thing.
oh, your microphone. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Do we need to swap batteries again anytime?
No, I did.
You did already?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Josh is back. So
Josh is back.
after
Back again.
after Alan's soldering lesson, we'll actually do some racing with Josh.
Can you hear
And I'm
me?
sure Jeremy will sign on here. Maybe Scott. Scott likes to do our racing as well. So that Sebastian might be able to try some in his racing chair right there.
What?
I feel fast in this chair right now.
Do you feel fast? That's
Well,
good.
I actually know
That's
because it
good to
doesn't
know.
roll very well.
Oh man.
Is the remote not working?
No, of course not.
You gotta get like real close to that thing.
Do we have a pair of cutters?
Cutters like
Yeah, we do.
QATARS?
Guitars?
Not guitars.
Guitars.
I'm
Like
holding
snips?
the Galaxy S7 Edge.
I want to give a thanks to Aaron Edwards, who just pledged to our Patreon campaign. Thank you, Aaron.
Ryan, you're muted. Oh, wait, no, sorry, you're not.
No, I'm not.
You said you were going to get up, so I thought
I was.
whatever, man. This is a lot to keep
And
track
before
of.
that, Jack Ryan. Maybe the Jack
the
Ryan.
Jack Ryan?
Maybe the Jack Ryan donated to our Patreon campaign as well. Thank you guys very much. Greatly appreciated. And you're going to get your soldering secrets. You're going to get them as soon as I can get up and leave here. All right, you ready?
You guys are making this stream possible whether you like it or not.
That sounds like a threat.
It is.
Well, that's probably appropriate. All right, so we got a decent amount of setup for this guy, so bear with us. Gotta get out the magnifying glass.
So the S7 Edge is actually using a Qualcomm chip again. This is the Snapdragon 820.
The US version uses
Correct. Last year, they did kind of an unusual move for them, at least in the last 2 generations of Galaxy phones, where they went with an Exynos chip, their own octa-core. It was a kind of the typical ARM big little 4, I think it was Cortex A57 cores and 4 A53 cores. And that was due to, well, according to rampant speculation, issues with the Snapdragon 810. They just decided to go basically with their international version for both markets. This year they returned to using a Snapdragon for the US market with the 820. And I have to say, just in early benchmarks with this phone, it performs very well. The CPU performance is very good, and the GPU performance is excellent. And the Snapdragon 820 uses the Adreno 530 graphics, which are fully OpenGL ES 3.1 extension compliant, so they can run all the newest benchmarks and any of the new games that can take advantage of 3.1. There's advanced features, like there's full tessellation support. If you have a ES 3.1 compatible GPU and it's enabled by your vendor, and you download, say, the new 3D Mark benchmark, there is, what is the actual benchmark name now? I can't remember. The new Slingshot, yeah, Slingshot, and then the new tests are awesome. And the new version of GFX Bench 4, I believe, has something called Car Chase, which makes use of all of these. and it looks great. It looks like a modern console game on your phone. It takes quite a bit of horsepower to make it run at playable frame rates. It looks pretty smooth on this. But the hardware itself, not a whole lot has changed since last year. This is the Edge version, so it has that curve, that wraparound screen. Not everybody's a fan of. I don't know if I like it or not. But the phone is extremely well made. It feels very solid. They've done their own thing with the design. This does not just look like an Apple clone type product at all. This is Samsung's own IP, and it's been that way since their phones last year. This kind of seems solid. It was really refined it a little bit. But camera, overall snappiness seems great just in sitting here using it for the last hour. Very impressive results with that SoC too. I can't wait to see how it performs versus the Snapdragon 810. We have a OnePlus 2. I can benchmark against it for the 810 numbers. Certainly blows the water out of my Snapdragon 805 in this Nexus 6. Oh wait, what's Josh say?
You want to compare the two devices?
Oh, this is the regular S7?
Yeah.
Now, both of these have always-on screens, right? These are AMOLED displays. They're actually both the same resolution. They're both the 2560 by 1440 AMOLED. This one is 5.2 inches, 5.1 inches. This one is 5.5. So they've gone with the same size, at least, of Apple's 6S Plus. They shrunk the
Yeah, but
edge down a bit.
We'll grab Allyn's phone because I think that's a lot smaller than 6S Plus with the same screen size.
It is because the screen to body ratio is so different. Like you're edge to edge, literally with the screen. Apple has a bigger chin because of the larger home button. Samsung uses more of like a flat home button. So if you look at a 6S Plus compared to the S7 Edge, which is kind of their Plus version, they're both a 5.5 inch screen, but as you can see, the Apple device is considerably larger. And it's harder to tell on the space gray because it uses a black front. But when you look at like the white models, like imagine a bigger version of this when you have a chin this large to allow for this really big physical home button here. And then they want the design to be symmetrical, so then you have to have the same amount of space at the top. You end up with a rather tall phone for the size, and that's always been the case. Like my Nexus 6 is a 6-inch phone, and it's in a case. And side by side, the iPhone is only just a little bit, like maybe 1/8 of an inch shorter, but not quite as wide. So it's still easy to hold, and it's a wonderfully thin design. The iPhones feel great when they're not in a case. And now the 6 just feels tiny. This is a toy. How can you get any work done on this phone?
I don't do work.
Low screen resolution, tiny size. I guess it does fit nicely in tight jean pockets, though. That's one of the main advantages of this design. It's designed to go in and out of a rear jean pocket easily.
Oh, and that's 10.
Wait, rear jean pocket?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, all right. My wife, she has actually this color of iPhone 6. And it's in and out of the back jean pocket. That's the official storage location. And no, she hasn't bent it yet, I don't think. And if she has, oh well. It's not my phone. She's only broken the screen once. And it costs $100 to have that replaced.
Did you discuss the water resistance of the new phones?
I have not. These are, what is the number? SG6...
51, IP51.
IP...
What is it?
68.
Oh, 51 must be a lower one.
So it's IP68 military spec.
Which is 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. Is that right, Ken?
But, no one can.
No, that is correct, right?
1.5 meters for 30 minutes.
So if you drop this...
That is correct, but there's a step in going around how they have a charge port warning.
Yes, there's a moisture sensor So if it detects that it's been submerged, you're not going to be able to charge it until it's completely dry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a really good idea.
Which is a good idea.
It seems like it might not work at some point. Like that mechanism might, because someone said theirs would stop fast charging after it was submersed.
So it would get a slow charge, but it wasn't willing to accept a fast, which I understand.
Yeah, but it sucks if like they advertise it as being water resistant to X.
I guess the important thing is if I drop this in water, even if it takes me a while to get it out of the water, it would work. It just might not be able to charge right away. I'd much rather have a phone working after it was like in the bathtub for. But what if it takes me a minute to get out of the toilet when I drop it in the toilet in a public bathroom?
You know how much money I would have saved if my wife had a waterproof phone like that?
How many times has she dropped a phone in water?
More than
At least twice.
This is another issue with the back pocket location that a lot of ladies tend to prefer.
My wife has such bad luck / is clumsy.
Well, they don't get real pockets in the front.
That's true. That's true. It's not their fault. It's the designer of the clothes.
Is this mic on, Ken? This one here? Yeah. So what happened, the worst scenario for Kelly was we were at a friend's house. We were at their pool, and then she was going upstairs to take a shower or whatever, so we go out to dinner. And she threw her phone on the bed with the towel she was using and a water bottle. She hadn't closed the water bottle all the way, so it leaked into the center of the bed, created a puddle that the phone sat in.
For how long?
The whole time she was in the shower, so 15 minutes or whatever it was.
That's the most unlikely way.
Yeah.
And then add to that the
It's
moisture
so
in the air
awful.
from the shower, and it's just the
This
worst
was
case
in
scenario.
the separate room. Or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
But like, she came back into the bedroom after the shower, and her iPhone was just in the middle of this puddle in the middle of the bed, and it's just like, oh my god.
Did the iPhone work after this?
No.
Okay.
Hell no.
Of course it did.
But that's women get free replacements of iPhones a little bit easier.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think. I sent her in there by herself to do like the whole sob story.
Actually, Corinne
We didn't have
didn't
kids
just
then,
get
no.
a screen replacement. They gave her a whole new phone.
Oh,
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually Christmas Eve, and she had dropped it in our driveway and completely smashed the front of the phone the night before, on the 23rd. And I had to work that day.
Crap.
And so she's like, what are we going to do? I said, just drive to the Apple store. There's one an hour away.
You need to be
She
like.
goes in there. She's all upset, tells them about it, and they pull one out from under the counter, switch it out. She walks out with a brand new phone. It cost her the $99 screen replacement fee, but she got a
exposure. Are you on static exposure?
$749 retail 64 gigabyte iPhone 6 after smashing her. So for 99
Because
bucks,
you're going
that's
to be
not bad.
toggling between that and
That looks good.
that and that,
Nope,
right?
up again.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
There we go.
Good idea, huh?
Don't tell him that.
He's like, it's
So
all
we're
blown
gonna
out.
watch
It's like,
this
hey, there's a fix for that.
with an Allen's eye view.
Oh no.
Although getting this to cooperate properly is going to be a hoot.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not adjust your computer monitors.
Yeah,
This is Allen's eye.
it is.
Well, he only has one though.
Yeah,
It's a weird fact. The makeup is really good
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
the fake second one.
Arr.
The fake
People think he's
stereos.
being pretentious when he wears a monocle around the office, but that's all he needs.
Yeah,
The other eye is glass.
yeah, exactly. Kind of wish this thing worked a little different than it does, but
Yeah, it's really bad third hand we have there.
yeah.
Is that the Allen sex tape we've been waiting for? Someone asked.
Wait, what?
They asked if that was the Allen sex tape. we've been
Basically,
waiting
imagine that first shot and just
Yeah.
that shot, and then it kind of twitches every once in a while. That's the tape I've seen.
Actually, is that still blown out?
for. No. No, that's perfect.
You won't be able to see it very well, Alan, because
I'm just trying to make it so that this third hand does what it's supposed to do. I might need to just use it as a single alligator clip because this ain't working with two. But that's okay. I have a something I can do with the other alligator clip thing.
She said
He was slamming his hand down the desk and hitting the keyboard.
Is that the extent of his like hand stuff so far?
Oh no! Like he's.
No. I mean, like, does he try to clap yet? Or is that what he does?
He hasn't tried to clap yet, but he doesn't know how to wave now.
But yeah, neither does Emma.
No, he does.
Oh, he does. What's he do?
Yeah.
Oh, does he? Emma's not doing that yet. But like when we went to the game yesterday.
All right, let's see. What kind of stuff are we going to be showing on that camera?
That's cool.
Let me see the other camera. So I need to figure out like if I can show things to people with the light.
That works. Yeah, if you just kick out of the way and it autofocuses back.
I know I'm with you. I just need to make sure it doesn't
So she did it again. I
blow
have
up
on
like
video, he's,
it's not too low.
He's done it a few times. He seems very like he has to focus really hard.
That light's kind of not cooperating. So I got the thing. I can hold it and show people and stuff.
Yep.
Good setup, guys.
And, yeah.
What's the code on this again?
Are there supposed to be instructions for this thing?
I don't know.
I would imagine they are.
The answer is no.
I would imagine they are on the internet.
Yeah. Do you want me to get the print out or something?
Yeah,
Print them out.
if you would. Thought they might have been in the box. All right, so we starting this thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. All right, so it is Simon Tilts as opposed to Simon Says. So for those watching the stream and the stuff, you can go to sparkfun.com and look up Simon Tilts. We were going to do Simon Says, but they were out of stock.
Yeah,
So we are stuck.
The schematic or the hookup guide?
the hookup guide.
Is there like any kind of thing that looks like what you would use for the like assembly? Just whatever that is. Like
There's an assembly guide.
I don't need a schematic.
I'll put it in the hip chat, Ryan.
It's not. Just say the one I find is not printable.
The one you find is not printable.
Well, it's just like a website.
Oh.
Well,
All right, so
I mean, it's instructions.
let's see. First of all, if you have solder stuff and it has anything that's like a vacuum,
Throw it to the side.
throw it to the side. I won't say to throw it away. You might need it someday for something. So here's the thing with anything that's like there's even some soldering irons that have like a little bulb thing on the side of it. It's like a vacuum extractor, little, kind of cheesy bulb thing. Anything that draws a suction on the solder pads of a PCB while they're hot pretty much begs you to rip the solder pad off of the PCB.
Been there, done that.
Ken's been there a few times. I've been there a few times before I learned how to do stuff the right way. So don't use any of those things. And
If I put this up on this computer, would that be useful at all?
yeah, probably, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's just components and a PCB that's labeled, so it's mostly self-explanatory. No, I don't need. Well, I guess. Yeah. They're showing us. Okay, so there's like a thing that tells you how to read resistors and stuff like that.
I mean, it's meant for beginners.
Yeah, that's true. So the proper way to remove solder from something, which we might do a couple times on the stream here, is you need stuff called solder wick, which is braid, but it's usually like here's an actual labeled thing. It actually says solder wick. Is like the brand of it or whatnot, and all it is it's just a copper wire braid that gives the solder. Like solder loves to wick up things when it's in its liquid form. So
Same.
if you get the braid hot and it's also in contact with the solder that's hot, then it just kind of like wicks up the solder wick, and it hopefully removes enough solder to where you can get the thing off of the PCB or whatever you're trying to do.
So why don't you tell the people the basics about soldering? Like how this all works as a theory and practice.
So the thing about the soldering is you want to connect a couple of things electrically.
So
Is that basic
I
enough?
just use electrical tape then.
Yeah, so you want something a little better than electrical tape, even though I happen to have masking tape, but there's going to be a use for that later. Actually, I need the micrometer.
Okay, we'll get you it.
And I'm not going to use it to measure things. Oh, there's like ball bearings in this. Confirming the claim that it is all ball bearings. Like, there's actually ball bearings. This is awesome. Look at that. We got ball bearings. No, they're looking for the micrometer.
Keep going.
Yep. Ken can't switch the camera though, because he is off doing some stuff. All right, I'm putting these ball bearings off to the side. So the SparkFun guys tried to engineer this like tilt sensor thing that uses ball bearings as its means to figure out if something's been tilted. All right, so I'm just kind of going through the parts that came in this kit. There it is. We will use that shortly. Bear with me, I'm just getting all the stuff ready so we can actually assemble some stuff. And I need to get to the point where I can actually solder things. All right, let's see if we can line up this this light through the camera thing. Yeah. Can you see stuff? There it is. Let's see. No. There we go. Okay. So there's your typical crappy soldering iron. And with the tip of one, I will say. And people don't usually talk about this. This is actually from like my high school electronics teacher. But what you do is you pretty much never solder with this unless you really need a really sharp point. So the thing you would normally do is take something like a file, and you would actually file it into something that's more like, depending on what you're going for. Let me see if I could find the thing. You would use a file and file it into something more like either a... Oh, there we go. I'm trying to get it on the camera. Nope, that's not the thing I'm trying to get on the camera. There it is. I don't know if that's in focus or not.
You can see it. So like a 45-degree angle, sort of.
Yeah, this is like a chisel tip. So it's basically, you could either make it look like a small flathead screwdriver, like a little jeweler screwdriver, or, you know, something else. But just something, what you're going for is to get a little bit more surface area than you can get on the thing you're trying to solder. That just won't.
Yeah, that camera's been doing that. I don't know why.
Oh, okay. You want to get like a little more surface area and contact area of the thing you're trying to solder.
Kind of like the edge of an X-Acto.
Yeah. So if you look at like the PCB here, and if I was actually going to solder with this, I would actually be able to get, you know, come at it from the side and have a decent amount of surface area as opposed to just like a point touching it. Okay. So that just, you know, kind of sets the stage there. And I'm actually going to put that tip on this soldering station here. We're actually going to use this JVC solder station because
it's our very fancy, mostly overkill, expensive soldering station that we have. But
yeah, it is overkill, but it's for trying to do something on a camera where you basically don't have enough hands to like hold things and, you know, try to figure out where you're going to put down a soldering iron and not melt the IKEA table. I'm going to use this JVC solder station if it works. Come on. All right. While I'm firing this thing up, since I have to do a thing like setting temperature.
what temperature do you usually solder at for surface mount components? I've never really known this. I just kind of like put it at some temperature and kind of go.
Okay, so for soldering anything, you want to go at the lowest temperature possible and still have the solder melt.
Okay.
Okay. Now that, depending on what you're soldering, if the thing already has solder on it, like you're trying to remove a component, you don't know what they used when they made it. You don't know if it was silver solder, you don't know if it was what like kind of alloy solder they used. It varies, but typically it's around 380 degrees is when solder transitions from a solid to a liquid. It gets a little bit lower if you have what's called a eutectic alloy. Have you ever heard that term?
I have not.
You don't know what eutectic alloy is? Okay.
I do not.
This solder that we have here, the fancy solder that Ryan had with this solder thing. He bought the good stuff, actually, unbeknownst to him, maybe. He bought what's called 6337 solder. So your typical cheap solder you find like a Walmart soldering kit or whatever, just at the auto parts store, that will be what's called, it'll be like 6040 solder.
Yeah.
That's just the ratio of tin and lead, right? Well, that ratio, if it's just 6040, isn't a perfect ratio, which means that as it starts to cool, there's a few degrees during that cooling where it will go from a liquid to a plastic.
Huh.
And then it goes to a solid. It's like a plastic deform, like if you ever hear of a plastic deformation of metals and stuff, like the point where when you start bending a hanger and then it gets to that point where it's about to break, right? Where it's actually like, doesn't flex back anymore and stuff. Kind of the same thing, but it's for solder. And the really bad thing about the plastic region is that if you go to solder something and you're not holding everything perfectly together from moving, and it happens to move as the solder's cooling through that plastic region, then the solder joint looks dull and it's actually brittle. So that's bad, right? You don't want that. You can kind of cheat by getting the more expensive 6337 solder. That solder does not have a plastic region.
Huh. Okay.
So it just it just transitioned from liquid right to the solid, and it should come out. Joints like that tend to come out. Solder joints like that come out much shinier. There's less chance of it being a weak joint, anything like that. So it's one of those things. If you're buying, especially if you're just doing a little solder project, you're probably not spending that much in the first place because you're not buying that much solder. So
what's like the price? It's just a couple of bucks or something like that.
It's like 10 or 20% more expensive.
Okay,
basically. Yeah. It's not crazy, especially if you get into something like a 1 pound roll.
Yeah,
which is what this is. I mean, it adds up. If you might be spending from $15 to $20 or something like that. But you get a 1 pound roll of solder, you're probably never going to buy a spool of solder ever again. We've made plenty of stuff on this, and I think, I don't know, it's like doesn't even look like it's come down at all. Another thing, if you're soldering stuff, you should probably have some isopropyl alcohol, and you should probably have some lint-free wipes. Not for cleaning the soldering iron tip, because that will start lighting things on fire. You don't want that. What you do want is to use isopropyl and lint-free wipes to actually clean the stuff you're going to use. So, for example, the solder itself. Because the outside of solder actually corrodes, and it'll get some crap on it, just over time, just corrosion and stuff. So all you do is you just take the solder, you put it in like a taco lint-free wipe with some alcohol on it, run it through a few times, and then the solder comes out looking pretty darn shiny, actually. That's what you want it to look like. And then here's my other kind of cheat thing. This is all like prep stuff, but you take the solder and you wind it around your finger. I think Ken's seen me do this trick a few times.
Yeah.
You wind it around your finger and kind of make yourself a little bit of like a roll of solder. But the thing is, if you do it right, you got the other camera, Ken?
Yeah.
If you do it right, you don't need to, why is this not showing up? If you do it right, you don't need to hold the solder. You just have it on your finger.
Now that seems dangerous to me.
Well, you don't want to stick the soldering iron directly onto your fingertip. Obviously, that'd be bad.
I'm very clumsy.
You just make it long enough so that and then you could just slip that thing off and just put it down.
It's a pretty sweet ring you got there.
Yeah. It's just you make like a solder ring out of it. Okay, so I guess we need to try to solder something, right? Okay. All right, so jumping back to the soldering iron temperature thing. The solder will melt somewhere around 380. Or 371, I think, if it's the 6337 solder. If you're soldering like heavy duty things, like there's actually some battery holder posts that came with this kit. Here, Ken. So there's like these kind of heavy duty, right? And this is like a relatively large piece of metal that we're going to try to solder. So you might need to go up on your temperature just to make this thing hot. And not only that, but this is just a piece of metal, so you're not really that worried if you get it a little bit too hot, because, you know, what's going to really happen to it? However, if you're soldering something like an IC, which we happen to have here, I'm not sure what this is like.
It's a 32. It's the 328p, isn't it? An Atmel 328p.
Yeah,
that's the microcontroller found in like the Arduino Uno and just kind of the very general purpose cheap 8-bit microcontroller.
Okay, but it is an Arduino.
Well, it could be
or
if you flash a
run,
bootloader. The code's already programmed to that, so we don't like. It's probably just AVRC flashed down to it.
Okay. Cool.
But in theory, you could take this microcontroller and reprogram it and use it for whatever you wanted.
So what I was looking at, wanting to look at instructions for, I didn't know if they like said you had to put certain colors in certain places.
Probably.
They're not labeled.
Well, I guess as long as it was consistent, it'd be fine.
Yeah, I suppose. All right. A few quick notes on how to put stuff on a PCB. Oh, look, they're actually, watch the notch. All right, so they're kind of giving it away here. If you look, there is actually a notch on that edge of that IC. So that's good to know. They're saying, hey, here's where your notch goes. Also, pin 1 is to the left of that notch usually.
Yeah.
And the numbers, if there's numbers, it goes like counterclockwise around from that. So the notch is like the starting point. So I'm going to take this IC, stick it on that PCB, and this is where the masking tape comes in. So you get some masking tape, and you do that. That's simple.
Just so it doesn't fall off the board when you turn it upside down.
Yeah, because you're going to be soldering, you know, the place where you're supposed to solder, which is back there. And I'm going to use this, see if this third hand thing will cooperate properly with us. And if we can get it on the camera on a good angle. I kind of want like a slightly side angle. I mean, I guess that's good.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
It's going to be really tricky to also try to look through that at the same time. Let me see if I can find an angle where we can do both at the same time. Maybe. Well, how about this? I'll set this up so that the camera looks through it, and I will just look at it without the magnifier. I think that's just going to have to be the way that we do it. All right, Ken, can you... I need the thing right next to the laptop there.
What?
Those portable magnifying glasses things that... Yeah, those things. I had a feeling I might need them.
Old man.
Yep, I'm an old man. I cannot look at things without a light and a magnification. All right, I'm going to set this thing to non-obscene temperature. Exit. Okay. I'm going to go for 400.
The chat's right. We should have just strapped a GoPro to your head.
Yeah, we could have. Separate thing you're going to need when you're trying to solder is either a damp paper towel, and by damp I mean almost like saturated, or a sponge, also almost like saturated. This helps you clean a soldering iron tip, and if you're using rosin core solder, once you've done that, it helps to re-tin the tip. And actually this tip kind of cooled back off because I just put it on something moist. So use rosin core solder. Feel free to get like a whole bunch of the solder onto the tip. You're going to clean it back off. But the reason you're trying to do this is to get the rosin that's in the solder to try to clean the metal. And then you can see like that paper towel looks a little worse now because it just cleaned off the soldering iron tip. All right, let's get this thing back in the frame. Now, I don't think we're going to have this thing fully assembled on this stream because, well, you know, I don't know if we could do that much stuff this quickly. All right, can you still see, Ken? I can't tell where you guys are versus... All right, so now when you're actually going to solder something, you need some solder on the soldering iron tip before you do anything. And the reason is that if a soldering iron tip has absolutely nothing that's liquid on it, then you are going to have very little surface area. Actually, I need to up the temperature a little bit. You're going to have very little surface area between the tip and the thing that you're trying to heat up. So you put... No, that might even be too much. Alright. Little bit of solder. Now that liquid solder that's on there is going to help conduct heat to the pad and to the pin that we're going to solder. And the thing is, you want to come at this at like a 45-degree angle. You want to get both things to the temperature that's going to melt the solder before you put the solder on it.
Yeah, because when I watch most people try to solder, they like put the solder in there and like try to paint with it, and they don't understand that you have to have both objects hot and then it wicks to it. You're not applying it. It's
Yep. You can
heat-based thing.
once everything is hot, you can effectively paint with the solder, but you can't just like go at it first and like and definitely don't take a bunch of solder, put it on the tip of the soldering iron, and then try to like paint the solder joint with the hot soldering iron. That's even worse because solder. You ever notice how like grease in a pan like wicks itself towards the hot part of the pan? Like, the same applies here, right? So that means that you're basically going to get everything hot from this side, and then you're going to come in, and you might need to actually come in and tap the joint area and the tip of the soldering iron just to kind of get a little bit more liquid solder in there. There we go. So now it's started. Now, I don't have enough heat. Hold on. Oh, and actually this soldering iron tip was a little loose. Okay. All right. So you get enough in there. And I need to look at it through the thing real quick. Actually, how does that look?
It wicked on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I have almost not enough. What you want is a concave. Basically, you want from the solder pad to the pin that's coming through, you want it to be concave slightly. You don't want it to be a ball. See, now that I actually didn't do right, but it worked. Okay, so you get everything hot. A little bit of solder, get it going. Now add just enough solder, do what you want. And usually when I pull the soldering iron away, I usually run it up the pin that's coming out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That way, you know, and I don't have that issue here that much because my temperature is good and everything. But like if your soldering iron just isn't getting hot enough because it's maybe a cheap one, or you just don't have like a powerful enough soldering iron, if you see like a little a little bit of solder just like sticking out of the solder joint where you tried to pull the tip away, because it's going to try to follow the heat, right? And this applies especially if you're using like 60/40 solder, which might be in the plastic region while you're actually soldering it. You don't want it to be, but it might be. Come on. And notice that these solder joints are coming out shiny. That's how they should come out.
Okay.
Okay. The two things that'll make them not shiny is, the first one is that plastic deformation thing, like it moved while the solder was cooling back down. Number two is the worst thing, and that is you overheated the solder and it started separating. So the more you work with solder in its hot state, especially for the cheaper solder, where it might not be the perfect ratio, the perfect 63-37 ratio, it'll start to break down on you.
And I assume not conduct anymore, really. Or be a poor conductor.
It'll just be like, well, the worst issue than that is the brittle. It might conduct, but, you know. The other thing to look for, like if your solder is not getting hot enough, I'm using rosin core solder. So that's solder that has rosin in the center of it. And you can actually tell on some of these joints, I'm not sure if it's coming through on the stream, but especially the last two I did, you can see the rosin on top of the solder joint.
Yeah,
I don't know if you can kind of make it out.
Difficult to see.
But it has like a little bit of
a yellow tint.
Yeah,
to
a little bit of like a yellowish, like kind of amber tint to it. Now that cleans off with alcohol, and you definitely need to clean it off with alcohol because rosin is an acid. If you leave it there a few years from now, you might not have a solder joint anymore. So, first of all, while you're doing the soldering, you'll see that rosin, some of it might enter the joint and might bubble up. So if you see that happening, you need to leave the heat on until all of the rosin has made it to the surface. Otherwise, it'll eat the soldering joint from the inside out over time. Right. So those are kind of like little weird things you need to look out for. And if you stop long enough to talk like that, chances are your soldering iron tip has started to corrode because it is a piece of hot metal. So we'll retin that.
So someone's asking in the chat, why aren't you using flux in this situation?
I am not using flux because I have, first of all, these are brand new parts. Everything's like, this is a silver coated PCB, right? Silver, chances are you don't need to prep with flux, especially if you just open the package and everything's all nice and shiny. And the component too, like the leads on this IC were very clean.
Okay.
So no need to do that. And part B is I'm using rosin core solder, which is actually acid etching that metal as the solder is flowing onto it, right? If you're using silver solder or you're using any kind of solder that's not a rosin core, which if you get into like really delicate electronics work, people will end up like not using rosin core solder because they don't want to risk like those kinds of issues.
Yeah.
See, this is what happens when you have solder. So what initially happened there, I don't know if you caught it if you could tell, but what initially happened is
it was balling up on the tip.
It balled up on the tip, and it did not want to flow into the joint because the hottest point of everything was still the tip. So the best thing to do in that case is you just like keep the heat on it, make sure you might twist the soldering iron tip just a little bit, just to make sure you're getting good contact and
good contact with both the pin and the pad.
Yeah, you're supposed to be contacting both.
Okay.
Like I'm just stopping, I'm coming in at a 45-degree angle, and I'm just letting either the pin ride down towards the pad or ride across until it hits the pin. See, there's a hole. Okay. So there, I don't know if I can get this on this video. This, I intentionally stopped short. See how there's a hole?
Yeah, you can see a hole right there in the middle where the pin is.
Yeah, like this. It is soldered, but I didn't get solder everywhere I was supposed to get it. Right? That's like a bad thing. It'll hold, and I'm sure it would conduct and stuff like that. But that's not what your goal should be. Your goal should be to get enough solder there. And all you're really going to do here is just like reheat it. And then add more solder. And if you get like a really stubborn, a hole that does not want to close, then it is actually like something's dirty.
Okay.
Like, you know, if you're just seeing that happen left and right, then that's what your issue probably is. All right, so I'm just
Yeah, so why don't you speed up a bit and kind of get this microcontroller in there, then we'll move on to resistors and caps.
Yep, that's what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm running off of the screen or not.
Not really. You're good.
All right. Any other questions coming in the chat?
Not really.
Come on, guys. I know you got questions. Let me know if I need to reposition, Ken. Because I'm just going to rip through these.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty good. So, okay. What do you do if you accidentally solder or bridge two of the pins, let's say? You get a little overzealous and
Oh, no.
bridge two of the pins on that microcontroller.
Actually, you know what's funny?
They're pretty far apart. It's difficult to do on
It's
this.
not only that, but since I was using the proper amount of solder already, it's like extremely hard to even bridge them. But if you did bridge them and you had your solder wick, as you should, and they sell this in different widths as well. And I do recommend if you're going to pick any of it up at all, you should pick up a couple of different widths. But you take like your narrowest width. Let's see if we're still.
Yeah.
So say those two guys were bridged together, you would take your narrowest width, you would lay it right in the middle, and then you heat up. And you always come down from the top, and the thing is you need to heat up this wicking enough to also heat up the wicking and the joint.
So you have to kind of leave it on there for a while.
Yep. And sometimes you've already saturated the wick and you need to like shift it over. And actually, did I just like desolder one of those joints?
I think you might have.
I probably did. But if there was solder there, then it would definitely be gone just by doing that. Since I mean, you can even see what I sucked up there.
Yeah, it's nice and shiny.
Yeah, it actually picked up solder in there. And if you wanted to desolder something, you would need to keep doing that with clean sections of wicking. A section of wicking that is solder colored is not going to suck up any more solder. Simple as that. I'm just going to redo these two joints. And then I'll just start hauling butt on these.
So people are asking about stuff like ventilation, which is a good idea. You should do this in a well-ventilated area. A charcoal filter vent fan is a good idea for this sort of stuff.
Which we have one of.
We actually have one, but we have the front door open also.
And a fan in the middle of his microphone wouldn't be the best. It's a loud thing.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, we're in a pretty big room here.
Yeah, but if you're doing this in like in your small garage or something like that, make sure ventilation is a thing. You don't exactly want to be breathing in these fumes.
So I'm not like, some of these are not the right amount, but I'm trying to do this soldering. I'm actually soldering, not looking through this thing, through the magnifier. I'm kind of like working around the magnifier so that you guys on the stream can see it. But what you want is basically you want it to look like a teepee, but a slightly bowed in one. Basically, you don't want the edges of that solder like where it's tapering off. You don't want it to be a straight line. If it's a straight line, you're basically borderline too much solder, right? You want it to like be a concave, like a curve in, which I can't show with my finger in front of this thing because it doesn't work. All right, so we've got an IC on there. So IC's on, take the tape off. It's masking tape. You can like restick it to all sorts of stuff plenty of times, more than likely. What are we doing next?
Let's do
LED?
resistors.
Oh, resistors. All right, let's find the resistors that they gave us. So let's see, I'm looking at the PCB here, and I've got a few spots, if I can line it up. So those are where the resistors would go, 330 ohms. And then there is, looks like 100 ohms, where'd it go? 100 ohms down there. So there's only, I think there's only 4. Nope, there's 5. Where's the 5th one go? Up there. There's a 10K.
Yeah, that would make sense for the microcontroller.
All right, and then I got some resistors here. And, well, guess what? There's 3 of this type. So we could probably cheat.
And assume those are 330 ohms.
We'll assume those are the 330s. Now, I'm trying to be, can you even make out the...
Yeah, not really. A little bit.
Can't really make out the color codes.
Yeah, so resistors are color coded. There are 4 lines, 5 lines. Is it 4 or 5 on a resistor?
There's 5 if they have a percent rating.
Okay. So they're...
Oh, wait, 4. Sorry.
They're color coded, and there's a decoder you can use. The SparkFun guide will teach you how to figure the right resistor. We're just going to teach you how to solder it. So consult that guide for what resistor you need to put where. This is kind of more of a universal thing that applies to anything you're soldering.
And there are dirty old man mnemonics for remembering the color codes. I actually have one going through my head right now. Okay, so here's one of our 330 resistors. You want to get it on that PCB. All right. I don't know if I can show this through this thing. They make a tool for this. It's kind of expensive. If you happen to have a micrometer, and you don't need to use it for measurements necessarily, you just need to use it to measure between the holes on the PCB, if I can get this in the right place to show you. So I'm just gonna like, you know, kind of like rough measure this. And this actually usually works out perfect if you're like towards the inner sections of the holes if you're using this kind of a micrometer. And then you flip to the other side of the micrometer. That's not going to work with this one. Well, it might. I'll try. So you might be able to take this, lay the resistor in there, and then bend the leads. I don't know how well that's going to translate on the camera.
Hey, you can see it.
But if you bend the leads, now you've just, hopefully, you've hopefully made this guy able to drop right in.
There you go.
Like so. And then take out your masking tape. There's several reasons we're doing this, but you want to make sure the resistor's kind of centered there. Hold it in place with the masking tape. Then you're going to spin the guy around. Now, here's something that is a mistake that's a common thing. Do not solder this like this and then cut the leads. Do you know why?
Not in particular. It seems like it'd be more difficult that way.
It does make it more of a pain in the butt. I will grant you that. And by the way, if you're using like angle cutters like this, they have a little bit of bevel to them, which actually ends up giving you most of the spacing that you need, like the height that you need. What?
He was just making fun of your old man reading glasses.
Of course, he's making fun of my old man reading glasses. All right, we cut this first. I'm trying to get the stupid thing to show up. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but can you see that the center of those pins is not the same color as the outer part of the pins?
No, you can't.
Okay. These are silver-coated copper. Okay? All those leads you see on resistors and diodes and whatnot, there's copper in the middle, and they're silver coated. Copper rusts and like turns green and stuff, right? Do you really want bare copper hanging out
Probably
on the
not.
bottom of your PCB?
I
right?
don't think so.
You don't.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Okay, so what you do is you make sure. So not only do you have you cut this first, but you make it a point that when you're soldering this guy, do we got the whole joint on the thing? You make it a point when you're soldering that one of the times that you touch the joint with your solder, you touch the top.
Just to give it a nice coat over so there's no exposed copper.
Yep, so then you have just tinned the copper.
I never knew that.
And that's it for that guy.
Right. So why don't we move over to one of the other components on this board? Like
Yeah.
There's some capacitors, there's some diodes.
Let's see,
What do we got?
capacitor. Yep, there's capacitor. I got a couple of them. They look like they're the same. They're the same rating. So let's find a spot up here where a capacitor is going to go. Actually, that's a good question. Oh, there we go. 0.1 microfarad. And I'm going to guess, since these are the only ones that came in the kit, that that guy is 0.1 microfarad capacitor. Same deal as the resistor. We luck out on this. We don't have to do any funky bending of leads or anything like that. And notice I'm just reusing the same piece of masking tape. Like, you don't really need to blow through masking tape to do this stuff. All right, so again, pins are too long. And for this, you're only really going for a long enough lead. Like 1/8 of an inch is almost too much here.
You just want enough for it to barely stick out of the end of the hole.
Well, no, you wanted enough for it. It needs to stick up enough for you to have a proper concave ramp
Okay.
of the solder.
So if you,
right?
if you kind of, in this case, if you put the microcontroller through the holes and look at about how much that is, that's like how much those pins are exposed is about what you're going
Yeah,
for.
those tend to be like, they might be a little bit on the long side,
Yeah.
but for those you weren't clipping them,
Yeah.
so they're silver coated all the way
Yeah.
to the tip, right? But these you are, so.
Someone's scolding you for putting the resistor in backwards.
It's only in backwards if I don't line them all up the same way.
Well, okay, so they're not polarized, but if you want to read them later, you should probably put the color codes in the right order.
Yeah.
As good practice.
Did I put that in? No, I got gold on the right.
Okay. I didn't see it.
Yeah, there's gold is on the right. So if you were trying to read it like left to right, then we're good. Pull this masking tape off. And speaking of polarity, so here is an LED. Which one's the positive?
The longer leg.
You're right. Okay.
I'm a smart guy.
Now here is another LED.
Mm-hmm.
This one's kind of jumbo. And I don't know if you're going to be able to tell on this. Does it have a flat spot, actually? Wait.
I don't know.
Oh, these don't have flat spots on them.
Yeah.
Dang it. So we can't use that as, let me see, maybe one of the other ones does? Nope. So usually round LEDs, and it's pretty funny because on the PCB, they actually have the flat spot. So the flat spot is where the minus is. And to remember that, it's just like the flat spot kind of looks like a minus.
Yeah.
So it's like the minus. And then like the positive is always the longer one, because if you think about it, like if you take the extra line from the little plus and add it to the thing in length, like then it would be longer, right? It's kind of a cheesy way to remember it, but you know. What should we put on next?
Oh, let's go ahead and put an LED on.
Okey-doke. They didn't tell us what color to put where. So, heck, I don't know. We'll just go for this one. Blue on the left. Or pick a color. You pick a color.
Just go with blue.
Okay, fine. Red, no blue.
Ah!
If you didn't get that joke, I don't know.
We've got some movies to watch.
I don't know what you're doing here on the stream. Also, resistors sometimes will have... these are actually, like, soldered.
Okay.
Or they're either soldered or, like, more like heat welded or whatever the heck you want to call it, like at the factory. So they see those two little flat spots right there at the... right at the bottom. I don't know if it's coming across on the camera.
Yeah, you can see them.
Sometimes they come that way, and sometimes those sections do not want to go into the hole. You end up with something like this. You just gotta push harder.
So, like, is there any particular reason for that? Like,
they just don't. Some of them just don't get manufactured with the full length of the lead on them.
Yeah.
And then another part in the assembly process, they'll just like tack that on.
okay, I pulled up the picture. You're on the left side.
Yeah.
That should be a yellow. Just because.
Oh, fine.
You know, we got to make it to spec.
Okay. Yes.
It's important.
Well, it's like a Simon Says game, so it's like if it does yellow,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, then it's as long as you
You
tilt
know
it
me
in the
and
same
attention to
direction.
detail.
Yes, I do. I do.
OCD.
Ken he's a stickler.
And you're supposed to bend them 90 degrees.
Oh, they want it. Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's supposed to be at a 90-degree angle.
They want it hanging off the edge of the board.
Because you're tilting it to that direction. So that'll be a good thing to show how you bend a...
Well, for something like this, I would cheat.
Okay, well, that's a helpful tip.
So I'm just like, see, I kind of want it to be bent, and I'm just eyeballing the length here,
Yeah.
and then I'm just gonna like kind of bend it.
Just kind of make the bend and then cut your legs to length.
And you can't see it, but behind the PCB, my fingers are pushing the leads to make a full 90 degree. Mm-hmm. Because you want the leads to be sticking out.
Yeah, you don't exactly want to break it off.
Yeah.
That would be bad.
No, that would be bad. And then this is going to be a little tricky. You don't want the masking tape on the leads.
Well, since it's bent, it should mostly stay in there. But
Yeah, I'm just kind of holding it in the right place. All right, so little side note here, if you were concerned, and we don't have something small enough to do this with, they actually make specialty tools. But if you were concerned about overheating the LED and like damaging it, they make things that are kind of like little alligator clips. They're narrower than this. They're like really narrow, and they don't even have teeth on them. They're just like straight, like flat aluminum. Almost looks like scissors or shears, except they just come flat together and don't have any kind of cutter on them. And what you do is you would like clamp those on to the lead as close to the LED as you can get it.
Okay.
You would do that if you were worried that the lead was going to carry too much heat into the LED and damage it. But the thing is, like, you can't put it too close to where you're trying to solder because it's a heatsink. So it might make it very difficult. All right, let me spin this guy around.
Oh man, our 3D print is done.
Uh-oh. Well, you can't let people guess now. They'll just like...
Well, we can until we cut to it.
Well, oh yeah. But, the last it was on the stream, it looked like an orange ball. And our masking tape is not really doing its job that well, but hey. Where are the cutters? Oh yeah, try not to like shoot your eye out, kid, when you're cutting these things. If you notice, I kind of like have a habit of just like holding on to the lead that I'm cutting as I'm cutting it. If I can get a good grip on the cutters, that is. Dang it. What's up with that? All right. Grab my solder.
There's another one of those in there if you want it.
Sure.
Or if you want something else. Don't matter.
our tape off. All right, and this is actually a good. If you can see, you can see that the solder had wicked slightly up the lead on the other side.
Through the hole.
Yeah, so you.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't have to because there's not solder pads up here.
Mm-hmm.
Solder pads are only back here.
Yeah.
But that's basically like the right amount of solder, right? You don't want so much that it's dripping out the other end of it. Like that'd be kind of silly.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing.
So why don't we go ahead and show the battery holder? That's kind of the rest are just diodes, which are like LEDs.
Yeah,
and
we'll just do a
switches,
battery
which
holder.
Are completely easy, and so we'll show the
go?
last sort of unique component in the battery holder, and because
Yep.
since that's metal, it has different properties.
It is. It's going to be more of a pain. And I need to see how. Oh, wow! These are. Let's show that on here.
The beefy.
So they made it in such a way. Oh, hold on. Let's get our position right here. They made it in such a way that it actually clips into the hole. And like.
Because you really want to
thing.
make sure that's flush, or else your battery won't sit right.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah,
make
exactly.
sure both of them are completely flush with the board.
Yeah, and this is a pretty cool design on those, so that the part that's actually going to make the electrical contact to the PCB, at least on one pin, judging by what that looks like the bottom pin is the thing that's going to make the contact. But what you got to realize is this is like one big heatsink,
Yeah.
right? Like it's basically, a huge surface area. So it's going to be kind of a challenge to get this to heat up in the first place. So I might have to actually crank up the heat on the soldering iron.
So we're talking like 10 degrees here, or like roughly about how much?
So since I have only been putting the soldering iron on these components very briefly, I've got this thing regulating at 500 degrees right now.
Okay.
If you were doing
Which
any...
is very high.
That's high, but because you see I'm only on each joint for like maybe 4 or 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So this might work with this current heat, but I might just have to like stay on it for longer. So notice I'm making dang sure that I have a solder bridge to try to conduct heat into this thing.
What do you mean by that? They had solder on the tip?
I had solder on a little bit of solder on the tip, and I'm actually watching it move around on the pad.
Okay.
But it's not moving around or wicking onto this connector yet. So I'm going to try to put a little bit more on here and go right for the connector. See if I can get it to heat up enough. We might be good enough here. Maybe.
It's getting a little bit there.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it looks like it's wicking a tiny bit.
There we go. I think we just hit the point.
There you go. Ah, beautiful.
So see, I had a little bit of a hole on the top. I kind of painted it.
So does it just have to heat up more, Alan?
Yep. You just got to give it more time. You wouldn't think that like that big old heatsink kind of thing and this really tiny soldering iron tip would actually be able to heat it up that much, but you just with more time it'll do it.
And it is at 500 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well, yeah. But you also have to have like this bridge of solder actually like helping it conduct heat,
Yeah.
giving it more surface area. So I'm going to try to fill this hole in back here. Now I actually have to like bring the tip around to the back to even manage to fill this guy in here. But you pretty much know you're at the right temperature. If you can apply solder from the far end of where you have the soldering iron on the opposite end, and it still liquefies it and still melts it and adds to the solder joint, then you're hot enough,
Okay.
pretty much.
Cool. Well, those are the basics of through-hole soldering.
Yeah. What's our next thing?
Racing games.
Racing games?
Racing games. So we got 2 wheels set up. I think Sebastian was working on setting up a machine to race.
So how about this? Sebastian and Ryan go to town, and then I will try to finish this while you guys are doing that.
So I'll use this PC here then.
And if I...
Yeah. All I need somebody to do, Alan, actually might be you.
What?
Well, actually, Sebastian, do you have Dirt Rally on your Steam account and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then if you log in there, it's already pre-installed.
Okay, cool.
You just got to log in to activate it.
I'm gonna see how quickly I can.
Is Josh online?
I haven't looked.
I miss Josh.
Oh,
I want to talk to Josh.
well. I guess I could call.
Let's try to call Josh.
Let's get this build diagram.
Oh,
up here.
he's online.
Ugh. Hey, show me on camera here. I want you guys to know something. First page, done. On to the second page.
On to the next one.
And this is only half of a page. Like we're practically cheating now at this point.
I don't know. I can still flip through my remaining.
Well, you've got more pages than I do. I've only got 2 pages on mine.
Because I'm more prepared than you are.
Josh is on IRC, so
He's on Skype. Don't go ahead and
is
try
he?
to get
Let's
him
give
in
him a
here.
call. Let's get him on here. We've already cut into his precious racing time.
What's he got? Like a quota or something?
Yeah, Josh does have a minimum races per day quota.
It's part
Yeah.
of the job.
Racist per day?
No,
Racist?
raises.
Josh Walrath is he's got to be a minimum of 3 times racist per day.
No, it's minimum.
He's a
racist
skinhead, you know.
Yeah.
And he has to interact with a minimum amount.
Oh.
It's difficult in Wyoming.
It's like an equal opportunity quota.
Yeah.
I see. All right.
Just throw that camera anywhere. Sebastian.
That happens a lot. We actually almost had a stuffed animal. But how you doing, Josh?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Good. Ken brought me some the Mad Tree. What is it?
Rubus cacao.
Rubus cacao. So it's
Cacao.
porter with raspberry.
I think it's
Oh,
Raspberry stout.
it's raspberry and
good.
chocolate. It's a local
good.
chocolate place.
It's my second one.
nice. I'm about
I
ready to go and grab one of my wee heavies.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. You said what?
Wee
So-
heavy.
We're gonna start with just some
Disgusting.
dirt rally here, Josh.
Yeah.
By the way, Alan, you're doing a fantastic job over there. I really do like that camera shot that we ended up getting of that. We may have to do something like this in a more formal environment.
Yeah.
I think we might.
This was totally like a winging it on the live stream kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, where
Ken?
I put the opener.
Will you log into that machine for him?
Yeah.
Of course,
So I
Josh.
started up Dirt Rally.
I don't
over
know if
here,
Josh
just so
was
you know.
watching.
Josh.
Yes, I'm watching.
Oh, good.
Are there any SMT pieces for that PCB? I'd be kind of interested to see how you would actually mount that.
I don't know.
With solder.
Is there any SMT on there, Alan?
No,
Service mount? No,
there's
not this one.
There's none on that.
Shin Megami.
What? Okay, just quickly explain, if Alan can,
Yeah.
how you would do that. Just explain.
Briefly explain how you would solder surface mount stuff.
Very careful.
Extremely carefully. So, so
But
the
they have
masking
these
tape
giant
thing still
wave
applies.
pools that do them for them.
You know, you get it lined up perfectly, masking tape, and then you really only need to tack like a couple of opposing pins down.
At what point are you going to teach like BGM soldering flow?
Yeah, BGA.
Now, I did.
No,
Do you have
BGA.
something with
Yeah,
SMT on it that's-
Alan can't do BGA.
Even one that I
How
could just
do they do
show and just
BGA?
like hit
I
my
want to know.
solder
I mean, do
iron
they
briefly.
heat up the PCB and then just slap the BGA on top of that?
I have no clue how BGA
Put it through a
works.
river of solder.
VGA? Yeah, yeah, you do.
It's like making a motherboard.
Is it really the waves? Is it the wave solder system over to get a BGA in there?
So, actually,
Talk to me.
Very small
hold on.
packages.
I gotta make that so
What are we
that
doing?
so that we can show.
Those are 0805 packages, I think, on the resistors and
So
capacitors.
this is actually Ken's video switcher with the
Ooh.
buttons.
Well, one that doesn't work.
This one doesn't work. Aww.
Yeah, that was the first prototype. Remember that one?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I do remember that one. That one ended badly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you basically just need to be extremely careful, and you need to. So, you can use this tip, but you probably want to flip it upside down, so the point is actually like towards the PCB, and you kind of want to come in
Oh, no, there we go.
on the edge
Bit of black
because
out again.
you still want to be able to touch the solder pad as best you can and the pin at the same time.
Huh.
So you basically need to come in like at a very sharp angle with just the point touching, and I don't know if that's showing at all.
And
on,
not
Start
really.
up Dirt Rally and see
So
if
there you
can
go.
get the wheel to
Like
work.
I'm probably frying the crap out of this chip right now.
Sometimes.
That's only an $8 microcontroller.
So you would do that, and you would also use either silver solder or 6337 solder that is not
know if I have
rosin
the
core
Logitech
because it
software.
comes narrower. It's like a much thinner solder because you cannot. I mean, look at this.
I mean, that's
like
exactly what we soldered that board with.
Yeah, but here's the solder I'm using compared to that,
Yeah.
and even that is pushing it. Now I managed to do it with this.
As have I. It's
but
not fun.
And this is actually pretty fine solder, but you're really pushing it with that, and you're just asking to bridge pins together.
Yeah. So, like, if you show one of those resistors, that's a.
Oh yeah, these were a pain in the butt too.
Yeah, it's an 0805 package, which is. Let me look.
Yes,
up
those
the
were the
exact-
ones I was really thinking of. It would be hard to do because I've attempted. Okay, in the past, way back, the 9500 Pro
And we
to
did not use any kind of
9700 Pro
masking tape or
mod.
anything to hold these
Yeah.
resistors down, which is why the solder
Yeah.
joints look like crap.
Alan
Yeah.
can't hear you, by the way, Josh. That's why he's talking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
That's all right.
yeah, I can't hear Josh.
Yeah, so 0805 is 2 millimeter by 1.25 millimeter.
Yeah.
well, ask Alan
That's
if he
the size
ever
we're dealing
tried the
with here.
9500, 9700
definitely
Pro
up there.
mod.
Oh no.
Alan,
Josh
did you ever-
wants to know if you ever tried the 9500, 9700 Pro mod, where you had to do a surface mount resistor, or take one off. I guess it was. Put one
You
on.
moved
Never
it.
did that.
You
but
moved it. You moved the
I have
resistor.
done plenty of like PS3 mods.
Oh,
which is
the
where you
PS3
have,
mods.
which
yeah.
is where you have to tack a bunch of there's surface mount components on the PS3, which are basically this pitch
Yeah.
of pins.
It's a JTAG, isn't
Well,
it?
try
On the
that.
PS3.
A couple of them as JTAG, but no, some of them you have to go directly onto these pins. Like you have to tack wires onto those pins that are also, and not bridge stuff with solder.
Yeah.
Well, we got the best equipment there for you, Alan.
Yeah, so we should just start going into business modifying PS3s.
Let's not.
Seems legit.
All right,
yeah.
so Alan's going to continue working on that. We're going to show a little bit of dirt rally racing here. If you're just joining us, I know it's evening time now in the U.S. I can tell because it's dark outside. PCPer.com/SOL. That's the URL that gives you the details of what the hell we're even doing
It
here.
sounds better every time you say it.
It gets
And then
more and more true.
PCPer.com/SOL contest. You can go there, fill out the form. After our racing, we're going to do a giveaway number 4, which will be for a bunch of EVGA stuff. So we're going to give away 2 power supplies, a motherboard, and a video card. And I think when we have Jacob on after that, I think he might have a special prize for us that we're going to give away only when he's online. Only when he's on the call. So you might want to pay attention for that too. And of course, if you want to show this, Ken, we still have our Patreon going, guys. Patreon.com/PCPer. We are very close to that next milestone. We are very close. We've had probably 30-something additional patrons from today. The amount has gone up, obviously. And so if you don't want this to turn into a voiceover debate of the debate that's going on right now,
There's a debate going on.
there's a Democratic debate right
Really?
now going on right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
between
the DNC is not good at
between the two
scheduling
people,
those, or
I
they're very
guess.
good at scheduling those.
Bernie and Hillary. So if you don't want us to simulcast that and talk over it,
I think a lot of people want that. But
I don't
for
think they
different
want
reasons.
that. Well, yeah. Patreon.com/PCPer. Go in there, support us, support you, support us. I don't know how that works exactly.
Help us help you.
Help us help you do fun, cool stuff, I guess. So we'll do that. All right, Josh, you have to remind me every time we get into this.
You go to career,
Okay.
and then,
Is it career or custom event?
gosh dang it, event. You got to do a PvP online event.
Custom event, rally, hill climber, rally, cross.
Rallycross.
Okay, hang on, you're in the wrong place.
You don't tell me that. Okay.
Okay, go to careers.
Yep.
And then PvP events.
Yep.
And online custom.
Yep.
And you'll do search once I get one
Oh,
up.
okay. All right. Let's do that instead.
So we need 3 events, 6 laps,
What's that?
automatic starts,
Career?
sure,
PvP?
staggered.
I think
Sis-
you can go ahead and unmute your mic if you want, Sebastian.
Okay.
And then go to search championships as soon as he creates it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just realized the beer I was drinking was 10%.
Yeah, no politics, right? So, patreon.com/PCPer.
Echo on Ryan's mic.
Yeah,
Ooh.
don't donate to any campaigns. Donate to PC Per.
I think
Yeah,
we can
don't
all
invest in our political system. Invest
Yeah.
in your PC perspective system.
Future of the country.
Let's be honest. It doesn't really matter what you do there. You're screwed anyway.
At this point,
All right,
I'm
I've got
starting
one
to feel
up.
that way,
Look
but
for Grendel.
Okay.
Or join me or
Search
whatever.
championships. I don't know. Just search, dog. Oh, this is the. Damn it. How do I rent? What is it? 4.
I can never remember what button it is on that wheel.
It's triangle.
Of course.
All right. I see Grendel. I'm in. All right. Do you know how to do that?
I can
Ouch!
figure out which
Yeah, I
button
felt
was
that.
which.
Hit a button until it turns into rent. Top on your right.
just mash a button.
No.
I don't think these are assigned properly.
Can you hit? Try the number pad buttons for 4. This is the same issue I had originally with this dumb game.
Alright, let me go back.
Who's RemC 86007?
I don't know. He's got a DS3 on loan though.
He does.
Citroen?
I own, if you know what I mean. I own that car.
Is that a Citroen?
No,
Oh.
it's a Ford Fiesta.
PC Per
so
for
fun.
president. I agree.
I'll run for president. You can be my VP, Ryan.
Why? Wait, no, wait, no.
You'll be in the background. I'll be the face.
He isn't
I'll
old
be the
enough.
target.
Would I have to be 35?
I think it'd be 35 to be VP as well, because you could
No,
become
30
president.
for being VP.
That's
Really?
true. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if you die? Then I become.
Then
I become the
you're
vice
gonna-
president
is
under
a
35.
heartbeat away from relevance.
you,
At all
I don't know what the
That's an
I mean, it's
interesting-
obviously
it's an
never
interesting
happened.
conundrum. Well, yeah.
I stole that from Jon Stewart.
Yes.
I'm drinking my porter and eating a Swiss roll.
Ooh, I've got the Bellhaven 90
Can
wee
I get a little
heavy
game audio back in my headset?
Yeah. I'm drinking
rich
the
Scottish ale.
Ballast Point Victory at Sea.
Any luck?
Yeah, it's all screwed up. 4. Which was the rent button? 3 or 4?
4.
4?
You're not getting any, Ryan?
It doesn't even see these buttons.
You should be.
You know what I'm
getting
saying? He's not getting any.
some. Well,
I get Josh, but I'm not getting any game audio.
I don't think you're giving any game audio. Because we have the soundtrack muted.
Oh, did we do that on this
Yeah.
game?
Oh,
Okay, well. I'm just trying to give Sebastian here a little bit. Any luck?
so that was David. Other than sick,
Good. Good conversation. We'll,
talk about VR crap.
We did. We talked about some VR stuff. We talked
Talk about Q.
Talked about Q. We talked about what else? We talked about with David. Talked about-
VR,
we took-
4K.
yeah, 4K video. The movie industry's desire to do things or not do things.
What does he think about? Did you talk about essentially the relatively inexpensive cameras that can do
We
the
did
higher
not.
resolution stuff?
We did not.
And has he invested in anything like that?
We did not.
Oh,
All right. Well, let's do a race
Yeah.
here while Sebastian figures this out. He may have to install LGS.
Yep, I'm doing so.
Might have to-
LGS.
Logitech gaming software.
Oh,
You may have to install that too in order to get the buttons to work.
Yeah, you do.
Alan says, yeah, you do. All right, so I'm ready. Do we need more people than this, or can we just go with this?
well, we can go with it, but it's I'm gonna kick all your asses.
I believe the last time we played this, you lost to me, Josh.
He was
No.
having issues.
Apparently, my family is quite loud. You can hear him in the background.
Ryan was driving.
Yeah, we can.
Ryan was driving
Okay,
backwards.
well, let me yell at him real quick.
You can shut the
I mean, you can
door.
close the door. That'd probably work.
Hi. Can you be quiet?
I'm gonna cut that out. No one needs to hear this. There we go.
All right.
There,
Now
what?
they can be quiet.
You can't shut the door? Your door broke?
They don't let him have a latch.
They don't let Josh have a latch. Yeah, I can understand that. Completely.
They're shutting me in.
See? I knew it.
Shit.
You are a shut-in.
All right, well, let's just do this 3 while Sebastian figures out his thing.
He can't figure out things.
He's
All
got to
right.
install a GS. Oops, yep. Scott's going to come in here in a little bit, too.
Ah, Linden Hill. My favorite. Actually, Hell, Norway is my favorite track. It's a lot of fun.
Sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Let's go. Let's go. It's just kind of unnerving not having any background music.
There you go. You got engine noise on.
Going down, Monstar.
You're not targeting Josh. Redlining. That's probably good.
God bless it. Turn, please. You're going down, Josh.
So are you actually going to take the right route this time instead of going off track and getting a penalty?
Well, that guy just pushed me off the track. See, I can't get a steward's inquiry. I got bumped out.
You might be penalized.
You might shut the hell up. Oh, look at that corner, Ken. Did you see that?
Nope.
Oh, damn it. Don't look at that corner.
Someone says they should get a bonus contest entry for watching all 12 hours.
Fair.
But how would they prove that they've been here?
Oh, that's not fair. What a
Oh yeah, they're right. We should have played a racing game and did like 24 hours Le Mans real simulation.
You know, there are groups that do that.
why?
That's a really good question.
It sounds like a great idea, but I would like in practice not so much.
Well, I think
You'd be
that
pretty tired.
Hard OCP has a racing group that they do those.
Can you
It
like a
seems
virtual
kind of crazy to
handoff?
me, but
It would be kind of cool, but
Yeah. How long is your shift?
what do they do? 8s probably.
I took the Joker, just letting you know.
I took the Joker. Oh, you're the Joker.
I am.
They're yelling at you.
Some
about
people
your,
call me Maurice, but I'm the pompatus of love.
What are they yelling about me?
your view.
Shut up. They're lucky
mean-
I'm using a manual shift.
I mean, I like to drive my car from isometric view too.
Yeah, I also don't like to race and rallycross on the way home.
Alan does.
I do.
Well, that's true.
That's like my everyday.
We never actually discussed this, but that day we both.
Are you talking about your wife again, Alan?
What?
What?
I really didn't even get the joke.
There was a day that Ryan and I left the office at the same time. We got held up at a red light, and we were in opposite lanes. So I looked over to him, and I give it some gas to the line, and he waits, and then floors it. To be fair, it was like 15 degrees out, and my engine was pretty cold.
My battery was cold.
I thought about putting it in launch control, but decided against it when my engine was really cold.
It won't do it.
Yeah.
How many laps is this?
Same amount
Six.
it always
That's
is.
so many laps.
Launch control on a cold diesel TDI.
Come on, 6 laps isn't a big deal.
It's like it's a contradiction of terms if I ever heard one.
Launch control diesel is.
It's just funny that that's a thing
Yeah.
in the first place. Launch control.
I wish there were more
TDI.
people because I feel like I'm doing a lot better than I am, and I think I'm probably last. If there were more people, I would have a better chance.
Somebody
of not
is.
coming in last.
Oh, got no tires.
Doing better than
right.
that guy.
No. I've really only hit a wall one time. And it was pretty
Must have
light.
been the other guy.
Officer.
I swear, it wasn't me.
Things you don't want to hear at the DUI checkpoint.
Look, V Hill. He's only
Awesome.
20 seconds behind me.
I only hit a wall
20
one
seconds.
time. It was
My
really light.
fastest lap was only 1.1 seconds slower than yours.
Yeah, that was a pretty good lap. Strong work. So proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
How come this car doesn't have self-driving on it? That's what I want to know.
Elon Musk didn't design it.
I bet if I could design a bot for this.
Probably.
Bernie Sanders will win the Maine Democratic caucuses, according to CNN projection.
Well, it's Maine.
Tom was upset because we gave him a whole bunch of crap for using a stick mic earlier. I guilted him into it yesterday so that he bought a new mic just for today's stream.
Nice.
And then his internet was complete crap.
He was joshing it. You
He
know what I'm saying?
was, yeah.
Yours is actually holding up pretty well right now. Apparently, the key is Sunday night.
It is. And everybody has
There's
overdosed
Michelle, there's
on
Scott.
House of
Scott's in.
Cards
You
and
figured
they're
it out?
not streaming anything right now.
I might have been watching House of Cards on the set TV yesterday when I was setting all this up.
Maybe. Look, it's got me show.
Surely Alan's watched you that. He was sick.
Yeah, Amy and I were sick. We completely marathoned the crap out of that from the couch.
Yeah. I'm like
Actually.
halfway through, I think.
It starts slow. And
Once
then
it hits the point that I'm thinking of, and you know the point I'm thinking of, it gets pretty.
Oh, you know
Yeah.
that point. I'm thinking of it,
Oh,
too.
shut up.
You know
It
that
starts-
time when it did that thing, but I don't want to ruin it.
It starts pretty slow.
Oh.
I think it starts slower than previous series of it.
Well, let's go this way.
So far, it's better than the third season. Third season was.
Yeah, it just still takes it like a while to get its stride.
Oh, I'm really bad at this map. At this track.
It does make sense though. They have to like lay all the groundwork for all the cool crap that's about to happen at the end
And
of
no
the
one
thing.
remembered what the hell happened, really.
That's true.
Oh,
I remembered broad
what the
strokes, but I didn't remember much because it's been a year.
Who
Yeah.
races on gravel?
It's almost like you want to marathon the preview. Amy actually suggested that, and I was like, oh hell no.
Yeah, it's.
Marathon the
I mean,
previous three
the idea
seasons.
is you do that before the new one comes out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. I do have the Xbox Elite controller here. I might try that instead
Nope.
of this wheel at some point, just to
Nope.
see how much different
Nope.
it is.
I don't think that's going to be as good.
It cheats.
What?
Yeah.
because you can
I
steal
talked to
way
the developer about exactly that.
Oh, I want to use
And-
it for real then. man.
To help out the people
You
who
can
are
drive
doing
backwards.
keyboard and
so much easier.
controllers, it does some
Right?
of the driving for them. Because it's just not enough degrees of
Yes.
rotation
This
to be able to handle it.
I need is on the part of
The button was mapped to the sequential shifter.
I didn't take the shifter out of the box. I didn't think you'd need it since it had paddles.
I'm not going to use it. It's I have to have
Oh, turn.
That's it. I'm sending that wheel back.
Ooh, who's that? Is that you, Josh, that spun out?
Nope.
You know what's cool with that board, Alan? I don't know if you noticed, but it has the headers for an FTDI connection, so you can reflash a microcontroller.
Yeah, they say it in the
I didn't read that part.
yeah. The same goes for the regular Simon Says version of it.
Yeah, I think it's the same microcontroller.
They say you can pretty much just like you dump it and flash it to whatever you want.
Rubbin ain't racing. Or, no wait.
Rubbin is racing.
Rubbin is racing. I think I was trying to
Rubbin
combine, like, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing with
Yeah.
whatever. I think everybody knows what I meant.
Yep.
Like, it doesn't show me, like, who it is in front of me. Like their name floating over their head or something. Oh, jeez.
Well,
I think that was Scott. You can get him on Skype too if you want.
yeah, I'll call
After
him
this race.
Yeah, I'll call him in between races. That wouldn't be nice otherwise.
Boo boo boo.
That's one way to screw somebody up, guaranteed.
This buzzer has a positive and a negative, but it's not labeled on the board.
Really?
I don't think the buzzer really matters, though.
Pretty sure you can just do this whole race in 4th gear. Oh, brake, brake. Go, go, go. There's something satisfying about that paddle click.
Guess that.
Why don't you have paddle shifters on your car, Ryan?
It doesn't have a transmission.
Well, it has.
Nope.
No, I guess it doesn't.
Well, it has a
It
transmission.
has one gear.
Yeah.
Right, so there's no transmission. Well, I guess it has to be to go in reverse.
Yeah.
No.
It has a certain gear ratio.
No, in reverse, your motor just spins backward. It
It's
doesn't.
not a
your wheel.
variable transmission.
Yeah, there is no kind of shifting. It's in a gear all the time that it can never go out of.
Because that's a transmission because it has to reduce.
Yeah, it's a reduction gearing. That's all it is.
Arbiter's in Dirt Rally now too. He was my
Oh, he's gonna whoop us all.
he was my savior in Rocket League this morning too. I keep saying this morning, but it was actually this afternoon. Now what do you got? You in there? Oh, Sebastian's in now. Good.
He's also
Right.
He's also muted.
Hey,
Now I am
Sebastian.
unmuted.
Sebastian, make sure you let me know how good that wheel is, since I haven't got to use it yet.
Yeah, we noticed.
And I actually bought it.
Hey, Allyn.
Sorry, Alan.
No, that's fine. Hey, what?
How far are you, Allyn?
How far am I?
Yeah. How close are you?
I'm getting there. Pretty close.
If we have to, we can do my Jacob call at this seat if he's not done there yet.
I've got a few.
yeah.
I got a few more LEDs here.
But I do have to have him out of there for the Patrick call, or at least clean that area cleaned up.
Yep.
Do
it'll be
you,
easy.
do you need to add anybody
Tell you
to the
what,
Skype?
Are you in, Scott? Let me see what
Hang on, he's gonna
device
call
he's
Scott real
using.
fast.
Let me check his audio device. I'm pretty sure I have it wrong.
Scott. Hang on, Scott. Almost, Scott.
Scott?
Yeah, what's up?
There we go.
Ah, how are you?
I
Hello.
don't hear Scott.
I will make you hear, Scott.
Please make me hear Scott. Sebastian, are you in there?
Yep.
All right, let's do this.
You should hear.
Is that what they're calling?
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, now I hear you. Whatever you do, everybody run into Josh.
Seek, search and destroy. It's like bumper cars.
Oh my God, will you guys get your dust? Oh, that's not fair. I didn't know the turn was coming. There's too much dirt in the air.
I get it.
Well, I guess I'm going to Joker.
Why don't you guys take the Joker?
Hey, Ken, there's a red LED. in
Scott, I'm
that
pretty sure I
spot.
saw you flip on the last one, like right ahead of me.
Yeah, I didn't exactly have two of my tires.
Ah, well.
I guess they have you put the LEDs in any particular way.
Well, okay, actually, only one tire was broken. The other one broke on the flip, but you know.
You know, whatever.
Yeah, I have ones.
Oh, damn.
Ken, are you colorblind?
I think someone told me that, so.
Oh,
Trust in the chat.
Why wouldn't I?
Oh,
Yeah.
hey!
can't be trusting the
Who the
chat.
hell was that?
They're nice people.
Those pesky chatters.
Oh my God. This is not even my fault. Usually it's my fault.
But this time,
This time, for real, it's not my fault.
He was a day away from retirement from the force.
Is it working over there, Sebastian?
I have destroyed my car.
Well, that's fine. I didn't ask if you were a good driver. Oh, no. Oh, that's
take a Joker
that's
again.
going to be an inquiry.
But he drove a Subaru down here. He should be good at off-roading.
Investigation by the stewards for cutting corners.
Oh, shut up, you British dude. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Sucks. Fedora fan wants to know who's drinking and driving.
Oh, this guy.
I'm not driving.
I think it was Rooster Teeth that did a GTA 4 video where it was whether if you have Nico drunk in the game and you drive, or whether you're drunk and you drive, which one's harder?
The Nico one, right?
Apparently, yeah.
So that's actually the anti-piracy technique for GTA 4 as well. If you pirate the game and I don't know, well, I guess don't crack it appropriately or whatever, it goes into drunk mode all of the time.
Oh, really?
So you can technically still play the game,
pretty good.
but you're bouncing all over the place.
Is it better if I do the sound effects?
Yes. Absolutely. Oh no, I should stop drinking.
Should we,
I have to challenge
should
Ryan
we-
soon.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll hit the Balmer Peak.
Should we take our racing wheels to QuakeCon this year?
That'd be pretty fun.
Don't bring any PCs.
Just the wheels. We'll plug it into someone else's.
Yeah, hey, can I borrow your computer for an hour? Thank you. We're going to live stream this too. I need to install some software.
It's totally legit.
Promise. Not spyware. Can I have your credit card? It's just for validation purposes. You understand.
And
I'll
watch
sit down
Show
again.
drive down for QuakeCon this year.
And I'm
where?
in a Joker, apparently.
He's in Colorado.
I always like
Yes,
when
he
the
works
timer
for
shows up.
SparkFun.
In
Well,
Oh,
he works for SparkFun.
Yep.
Gee, I just happened to be,
we should have him send us some stuff so we can do another video on soldering.
just happened to be putting together a thing. Right here.
Whoever Siggy 001 is, he's got some pretty fast times.
Well, is he in our race?
No, he's in the other circuit. That's why we started seeing the
Kick him out.
countdown.
We'll kick him out. 6?
Yeah, in fact, Nadas 51 also was 10 seconds faster than me, and the other one was 11. So I'd have gotten whooped.
I don't like this game anymore.
Don't like it, but I still win.
Cannonair wants me to make lightsaber noises instead. Alright, can do. Don't forget, everybody, pcper.com/SOL, pcper.com/SOL contest. We're going to give away some EVGA hardware here at about 9 o'clock before we talk to Jacob Freeman from EVGA at 9:15. And if you like watching us game and drink beer and make fun of each other, you want to see more of that, you can go to patreon.com/pcper. And that would be awesome.
This beer was like $16 for a 6-pack, so I definitely need that money.
$16 for a 6-pack?
Holy
Are you
crap.
rich?
No, that's the issue.
Ready up.
I'm drinking
Sorry.
it away.
Oh.
Am I ready? No. How do I toggle? Oh, let's go.
It's all the way to the bottom, ready
There we
up.
go. Yeah, I had turned the wheel, so I was on a person.
Dick of Truth. Very nice. Very nice. Hey, look. It's Chris NM.
Should we show
He
off
joined
our
up.
finished 3D print?
Yeah, go ahead. There you go. Take a look at our 3D print over there.
If you can't guess what it is by now, I can't help you.
I could tell it was done because the sound of its people
Stop.
stopped.
A couple people kept saying in the chat that they heard sirens in the background.
Yeah,
That's
I thought I
what
heard
it
that
It's
too.
just the
Yeah.
sound odors.
All right, here we go.
So
Is this
still
our
up,
last?
Joker.
Is this our last race
Sure.
of this one? No, I mean that's a
Well,
question.
we could do another 3. It's
But I'm saying,
up to
is
you.
this the third of the first set?
No, it's the first,
No.
the third, the second set.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah, we finished the first one, and I killed you all.
What place did I come in?
I don't know.
Third.
Thank
You
you.
were third. I was fourth.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, only because you had done like pieces than anybody else.
Don't break it, Ken. I want to save that one.
Trying not to.
Heat it up if you have to. We've got a heat gun. or
Don't
something.
know if that will really work.
I got a soldering iron.
Anyone have a solution for getting stuck on raft off of 3D prints?
A hobby saw.
Well, you don't
I
even,
tried the scraper and I put it into my hand.
you don't even like to take that one off because it's a flat bed on a
Yeah,
flat bed.
well, I broke a part of it off now, so I have to.
Well, damn it. Ken, stop breaking things.
I have broken a few 3D prints.
You have. Go. Eat it.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable trying to break that off. That's pretty cool, though.
Because the problem is it's pretty hollow inside, so you're going to crush it if you try to, like...
It's actually pretty damn solid.
Is it? It did take 8 hours to print.
And this is not very high quality, actually.
It didn't do any filler,
No.
I noticed.
Yeah. That would have taken forever.
Yeah.
Just make it solid next time.
One
So
spool,
it's like a
one spool of
throw it
PLA
at somebody
later.
and kill them.
Yeah.
1 kilo.
Just one solid ball of PLA.
Someone tells me to punch it off.
Okay. I don't see what could go wrong with that.
Okay. Like Rick James?
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to put that up.
Yeah, put it back. We'll show it off when we do our risk stuff.
Yeah. Jeremy is telling you to drive angry, Ryan. Channel your inner cage. I assume he means Nicholas.
Oh, I was supposed to be making lightsaber sound.
You're really bad at making lightsaber sounds for a...
And now I can't concentrate.
Yeah. I'm gonna revoke your trick. Your
Trekkie
Get me
badge.
get me a lightsaber
Your
soundboard
trick?
on my phone.
Ryan definitely doesn't have a Trekkie card.
It's just more of a buzzing sound.
I'm
don't say
doing
that
the
again.
sound
But there we go.
of waving it, right? Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Sebastian. But you gotta turn your wheel every time you do
Yeah.
it. As far as you can.
You know that Ben Burt made that sound with a electric razor running with a metal mixing bowl over the top of it?
Sounds like you watch too many DVD extras.
Yeah. I watched
Fully
commentary.
work. Fully work, baby. Fully work.
And then to make the lightsaber moving from side to side, he just passed like a magnet over the microphone cable. Something like that. I don't know if it was exactly a magnet, but
Apparently, Jeremy was referencing a Nicolas Cage movie from 2011 called Drive Angry. Has anyone
Oh.
heard of this?
yes. There's also Drive Me to Hell, another Nick Cage classic.
Air Force One.
That was not Nicolas
Harrison
Cage.
Ford.
You're thinking of Con Air.
Con Air, yeah. That's
Yep.
right.
Con Air, yes.
That's a good movie. That's where
Especially his flowing hair.
they were flying convicts over somewhere and it crashes.
Yes.
Nevada, and bad people took over. Sure.
The convicts. Hence the con. Right?
I'm glad you knew what I meant.
I get it.
Sebastian.
Get it? Get it?
You guys get it? Convicts? Airline?
On air? Funny
Is it an
hat.
airplane?
I'm starting to get it.
Let me try this. Convicts. Does that help?
No, it's like convicts.
Convicts.
Vicks like Vapor Rub?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that stuff is so good.
Oh, this
Tasting?
stuff is awful.
No, it smells great.
No, it doesn't.
It does smell
It's wrong.
It does smell
Bastion, did you
great.
crash out?
You guys got issues.
No, he hasn't yet.
The menthol. You don't like the menthol smell of Vicks
No,
Vapor
I
Rub?
don't.
Oh my god, it's the best.
Do you use cough drops when you're sick, Ken? Mm-hmm. You do?
Yeah.
What's the primary ingredient of those?
I understand that is menthol, but like,
Do you
that's-
smoke Newports? Because those are menthol too.
well, yeah. I like the cool, refreshing taste.
You know, I would have thought of you as more of a Camel guy.
The idea that anyone ever thought cigarettes were a cool and refreshing taste
Yeah,
just boggles my
But you've
mind.
obviously never smoked Misty Slims, sir.
My
My 150s in the box.
I've always wanted to be a fancy guy, a fancy lad, and smoke cigarettes with, what do you call the thing? It's like a piece of plastic or metal that So you don't actually ever have to touch
Oh,
the cigarette?
the filter?
A hemostat?
No. Like the thing that like ladies would put...
Wait, he's talking about proper use.
Is that what it is?
of,
It's just called an extension?
Oh, never mind.
I don't know what it's officially called, but it's like, you know, the...
Somebody in the chat will know.
Oh, who you might call
Like the Virginia Slam
Breakfast
logo
Tiffany's
was
girl.
this, I think.
She always used those.
I am really,
I was talking about
really
jazz
bad
cigarettes.
at this game.
Sorry.
No,
Different
just
thing.
like you put cigarettes into this thing that's like an extender, so you don't actually have to touch
It's like
the
a cigarette holder, I think.
Not only that, but it cools the smoke.
Oh, I know what you're talking
fancier
about.
name than
It's
a cigarette
it's like a
holder.
long tube that you put the cigarette
No,
in.
it's like that
Oh.
you stick the cigarette in the end of, so that you don't actually touch a cigarette, but you still are.
Oh,
Look at
yeah,
those,
it's,
look at
um,
those penalties.
Everybody says it's called a holder.
Yeah, a cigarette holder.
That's the stupidest
Fine,
thing.
This is
fine
the-
women used
I've
to
never
use
heard.
those.
See, Sebastian, it's 2016. I vape. No, I don't actually.
All right.
It's 2016.
Ken doesn't do any of those.
My
gonna-
roommate does
we're
though.
gonna
It makes
do-
my house smell like shit.
Yeah.
He
We're gonna do
vapes
events
shit?
2 and 3 here, and then we'll have to call it on the racing. You guys can continue to race all you want. We'll have to do our giveaway and then do our Jacob call. Pretty sure it's just called a cigarette holder. Okay, well, I think people are dumb. Whoever, the inventors, not you guys.
Hey, Ken, can you put this thing on auto gain?
What?
Can you put this camera back on auto gain?
I think it is, to be honest.
I don't mean autofocus. You put the exposure on manual.
but so move the light out of the way, and we'll see how the exposure looks. Well, if you do have it. So I mean, okay, I will adjust it.
Vroom, vroom, vroom. I'm surprised there isn't a fancy name.
So it's Josh, Siggy, myself, and
I agree with you.
could be
It does
fun.
seem like it would be a
Yeah,
better
Siggy's
name.
pretty good.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I
I'm in
know.
the-
He was in
I'm in
my,
the bottom.
run
That
last
means
time
I'm
he
not
got
doing
first.
well. I'm in the bottom. Are you in an STI as well, Sebastian?
No, I picked whatever the first one was, the DS, I think, and it's
DS3.
terrible.
Turns out just
Or
driving.
at least
is
I'm
hard.
terrible.
Driving is hard.
Driving is hard when you constantly spin out.
That's what it was.
Well, I know, but... Oh, you're saying the camera just...
It needs light.
Okay.
Hey, Josh,
Gotcha.
in this game,
Hey, what?
how come sometimes people go transparent and won't let me hit them,
Yeah.
I have no
and
idea
sometimes
why.
it doesn't?
I'm almost
I'm
done.
trying to hit
Because I've
Ryan and
got
I can't hit
collisions
him.
on.
Yeah, but I've definitely hit people, and I just saw 2 people that were transparent hit each other.
It looks like if you're going the wrong, like if the directions are head on, it will make you go transparent. But if the directions are the same direction, it'll make you go not make you go transparent.
Huh.
And if they're on different laps, it may do that as well.
Well, this was just now, so it's clearly
Yeah, I know.
we're not on different laps, but yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out too. I'm not quite sure, but it looks like it's if they're facing the same direction or facing opposite directions.
Maybe Josh disabled collisions.
Maybe in the losers bracket? No, because I just saw the people hit each other in the losers bracket.
Nope, that theory's busted. Some guys just passed me transparent.
Damn it! Damn that corner. Well, I gotta check and see what the temperature is at my house now. But the sun went down.
Probably a bit lower. Maybe the dogs will run around it.
Yeah, they just kept running in circles, keeping the house warm for me.
Yeah.
It's those damn dogs that woke up at like 7:15 this morning and got me out of bed.
That sucks.
Doggy jumping jacks, you know?
No, they actually just got up. So the thing is they both, the 2 pups sleep in the bed. And when they get up and go downstairs by themselves, I'm like, nah, that's not good.
Did Reese get kicked out of the bed?
Reese can't jump up in the bed anymore.
Oh, okay.
And she's kind of like, I think she enjoys the time alone downstairs by herself.
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah, you guys go upstairs. I'm cool.
I got
down
the
here.
couch.
I'm cool.
My sister just got a Great Dane puppy a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
And it's amazing how much that dog is growing.
Oh, that's going to be huge.
It's like the cutest thing ever, though. It's like gray and black spotted, which is not color usually you see with the Great
He's got
Dane.
blue eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah.
I just took the Joker and did not lose any of my position as having been
Nice.
lapped by everyone.
Good job, Sebastian.
Yeah.
This is what happens every time we play this game is I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting the hang of this. Time to exit.
You're getting better progressively.
Yeah. No. What are you doing?
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's really frustrating. Like you hit one pylon that's like impenetrable,
Yeah.
and you
those
gotta
metal
like
ones.
back up and reverse.
Wow, Dirt Rally is $66 right now. According to Jeremy.
Well, in Canada.
Canadian.
Which is like that's like
That's like
$12 US.
$3 or $4. You know.
66 Canadian rubles.
So like it just had like again that there's like a transparent guy who just
That was me.
went right through me. That's weird.
Isn't that the ghost car?
Yeah, I mean,
Speaking of dogs, 1 second.
You know, my 17-year-old not upstairs anymore. My dog, that is.
I was gonna say, you have a 17-year-old? When did that happen?
No, I've got a 14 and a 13-year-old.
Pretty close.
But yeah, we've got a 17-year-old dog.
Toilet bug, I will not drive better on hood view. That's just not possible. All right, one more race.
One more race. Hellas. It's feeding. Just ahead is feeding.
You know, I'm old enough
Oh, you're
that I
gonna be.
could have a 17-year-old, I guess. If I had a kid at 17.
Yeah.
I could have had 3 17-year-olds.
Wait, what?
Huh?
Oh,
Somebody's gonna watch me play Dirt. I forgot Steam did that.
Oh, you're doing the streaming thing?
Yeah. Well, I'm not streaming it, but they can like spectate.
They can do it if
It
they
is
want, if they're a
streaming, I
friend.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is like streaming, I think.
Well, I didn't set it up. It just said somebody wants to spectate. Are you okay with it?
Yeah, but I think it streams.
My wife just texted me and said, only 3 hours left.
You think she's watching?
No, not a chance. Ooh, I moved up from... Ooh, Scott, you're in the bottom rung now.
You know what I'm saying?
Did he leave?
No,
No.
he's still here.
Oh, okay.
He's just focusing.
Well, let's unfocus.
Forward focusing.
Ford Fiesta-ing.
STI-ing. Oh,
Gross.
you son of a...
That's really gross,
Bitch.
Ryan.
Not STD-ing.
SCI is what they call that now, by the way.
Yeah, it
Look,
is.
somebody... Somebody ran into me. The other guy in the STI. And now look at my bumper.
Someone says you have high insurance rates, Ryan.
What? Get out of my...
Actually, I was surprised at how expensive insurance on a Subaru was.
Because you crazy people drive however you want.
My car is the least sporty car imaginable. I just passed a bumper.
And think
Well,
of
it's not
how
mine.
little
Mine's still
Allyn
taxed
pays because he
permanently.
technically drives a Golf.
What paper?
Which is outrageous because his
Insurance.
car is far faster
I
than
technically am well, it is a Golf.
Yeah.
It just happens to have 1 horse.
Yeah, like, you pay very little because you technically drive a Golf.
Yeah, insurance company has no clue like that. You know,
My
basically,
insurance rate on my car is pretty low, I think.
Your insurance rate is so low because your safety rating on your car is insane.
No, I think it's because the insurance companies don't have enough data on it.
I was going to say, the you're talking about the Tesla?
Oh, God,
Yeah.
Because parts
Damn
and,
it.
and labor for that are probably very high. They have to be done at a dealership, right?
Yeah.
So it should increase the cost of the premium.
Yeah, but they are very safe. Like, in terms of personal injury,
Oh, okay.
they would be really low. But,
But you can still ram into somebody and cause them some damage.
yeah. I mean, and you do... it is a 4,500-pound car, I think.
Our Volvo
I can do some damage
XC90
to somebody if I really wanted to.
the
Or if you didn't.
SUV, Corinne's car, the Volvo XC90, super cheap to insure.
Super safe.
You know, somebody like texted
And then
me
the
or something
Subaru
on my
Legacy,
computer, and it went from full screen
supposedly a
mode
safe
to
car,
like a
but
half
far more
mode,
expensive,
and
yeah.
now I'm in last.
But it's a newer
place.
car, so maybe
Somebody
that's why.
texted you? In your
Something
computer
like
did
that,
it?
but my screen went from full screen and it went into a. Oh wow! I
look, a
can't
bumper.
even see the car in front of me. I blame NVIDIA.
That seems relevant. What? Oh, there goes my bumper.
Are
Thank
you
God.
are you using the Windows Store version of Dirt Rally? That compositing though.
Gotta get that Xbox overlay.
Look, we're just trying to provide you a seamless experience.
I think this car looks better
Get
without
Tom
the
on the
back
phone.
bumper.
Yeah.
You have an advantage now. You have less weight.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, Alan, I was kind of debating what car I'd buy if they bought mine back.
Just another of
Do
the
I
same.
stick with them or not?
Oh, you just get the regular gas version here.
You guys talk. You guys have like the what's that called where you
Stockholm syndrome.
yeah where you finally fall in love with your captors.
Yeah,
They beat
Stockholm
you to
Syndrome,
death.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it sounds like.
That's
you-
what it's like being a Volkswagen
with
owner.
Volkswagen.
I love my constantly breaking down car. It's been good to me the 3 days
It's so
out of the week
German.
that it works.
How could you not like it? I mean, sure, the electrical stuff never works, and
Well, my
I
right
haven't
rear
really had
turn
that many
signal just
problems.
has never worked, and now my reverse lights are out. But at least it starts most of the time.
It's quirky.
it's yeah. See, it's perfect. That's a perfect way of doing it.
I could buy a Civic and it'd work all the time, but where's the fun in that?
Where's the charm? It's so generic.
Yeah.
Ugh, functionality.
I want my driving experience to be like that of my formative years of terrible used cars that never worked properly. Like my 1991 Jeep Cherokee Laredo that would only start about 60% of the time.
Whatever. I'd still be driving my first car if it hadn't gotten
truck?
totaled.
Yeah.
I'd still be driving.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I wouldn't have spent the money.
Yeah. But see, now you got the bug. You went from car to car.
I
You
got
have a
a
bug now?
relatively nice car, and then I was like, oh, I can get a nicer one.
That's what happens.
I thought you had a Jetta.
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. I thought you just,
No,
you
I
said
got
a
the bug for nicer cars. So I bought a
Oh,
newer
you have the
Jetta.
bug.
It's not gonna let me
We're talking
finish.
about
Are you
Volkswagens.
kidding
You
me?
can't just throw around the word bug.
It's true.
Look at my brakes. They seem to be glowing.
Yeah. They probably are.
I
They're
didn't
on
have all
fire.
of my tires, but that's good.
I can't believe it didn't let me finish. I didn't think I was doing that bad.
I was doing really bad.
Did I get
No,
third?
when it stops you early, it just
No,
goes
I got
by
fourth. Oh,
whoever
no,
finishes,
seventh.
and then they
All right, Ken.
put everyone else.
Alan's ready?
See if this
All right, switch to Alan.
see if this piece of junk works.
All right, Josh.
Oh, you got to go to the other camera.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for racing.
All right, let's.
You
push
feel
some
free
stuff
to,
out
if
of
you
the
want to, you
way.
can call in later with us from
Put
the
this thing
11 to
up in
12
the
hour when we
air.
play Risk. If you just want to chat,
Sure.
Yeah, I'll
sounds
hit
good.
you up in Hip Chat if you're around.
we'll call you. Bye.
I'll miss you, Josh.
So we got Simon
Bye-bye.
Tilts.
He can't hear me.
See you guys. No, he can hear you. You can't hear him.
Oh, okay.
And what's cool is that they made their own tilt sensors, and all they are is steel ball bearings inside of a little plastic tube with an IR emitter and a detector on either side.
Huh. That's pretty
And
cool.
they put them on 3 different 45-degree angles.
Yeah. So it's unique.
So yeah.
So turn on the sound as well and turn on the power.
Yeah. All right, so you turn it on, and then it's supposed to you're supposed to tilt it somewhere to wake it up or tell it you're ready to start. So, oh. Interesting.
Don't screw it up. Oh,
That's a pretty cool learn to solder project. Like, it's something you'd keep on your desk and mess around with every once in a while instead of
Yeah.
like a stupid smiley face or something like that. You won!
Did I?
I think that's what that means.
Oh, there's a bottom one, too. I assume the program isn't that extensive, so it just quits up to like 4.
I guess.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
So the 1 plus 2 needs USB-C too.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, it does.
And then they said there's a nightlight mode.
We have a CDC cable somewhere.
So it goes into nightlight mode if you
there's purple
turn it
boxes on top of the
on
thing. There
when it's
should be
upside
a
down.
C cable.
So it
So you'll
boots
need
up,
C to A, but that should be the other one. Yep.
and then
Oh, it's a
nightlight
charge.
mode. And I guess like an LED, just like
Okay, go ahead and put up the URL for the contest real fast. We're going to draw winners right after this Allyn showcase. PCPer.com/SOL contest. Get in there and enter.
I think we're probably pretty done with
does
the.
it? Does
You
it
ready?
Just keep this one.
All right, I'll give you 1 minute to enter at that contest. This is for, we're going to give away an EVGA 650 GQ power supply, EVGA 650 P2 power supply, an EVGA Z170 classified motherboard, and an EVGA GTX 970 graphics
That's
card.
a pretty big giveaway.
That's going to go to 4 different people.
Well, yeah, but like
But yeah,
that's a
there's
lot of stuff
there.
that
EVGA donated a lot of stuff. They did awesome. Actually, while I give them that minute, let's do this.
Oh, so now that I'm done soldering, I'm going to wash my hands because there's lead on them.
Yes, wash your hands before
Rub
you
your
try
eyes.
to do anything else
Yeah,
after
don't
soldering.
rub your eyes.
Don't eat.
Lick
Don't
your
eat,
hands.
especially don't eat. Don't lick your fingers. None of that stuff. Unless you want. I mean, I think you kind of need a lot of solder to
But
get lead
still, not a
poisoning.
good idea.
Yeah, but yeah.
Slow, gradual lead poisoning is the worst.
Washing your hands is pretty easy, as it turns out.
Yeah.
All right, Ken, you ready to pick some winners? Show this machine over here. Show the gaming machine. So the first winner of an EVGA 650 watt GQ power supply is going to be James S. from Birmingham, A7, United Kingdom. I thought that was Birmingham, Alabama, and mistyped it, but it says United Kingdom right
I
in
hate it when I
there.
replace L's for 7s.
So
Birmingham.
7 wins EVGA 650 watt power supply. The next winner is an EVGA Supernova 650 watt P2 power supply. That winner is Evan S. from Phoenix, Arizona, whose favorite segment coming up was Racing with Josh. Aww.
Aww.
Adorable. The winner of the Z170 Classified K is Arish K. from Houston, Texas. Arish, I'm sorry, I'm probably mispronouncing that. Arish K, whose favorite segment is going to be Patrick Norton's interview.
But that could be horrible. We don't know.
Well, the question was, what are you most looking forward to, I think, is what it was. So congratulations there. And then our final winner from this segment for the EVGA GTX 970 SSC. That's super
clock.
Super clock, I think. We'll ask Jacob when we call him here in a little bit. That is Matthew C. from Huntington Station, New York. Matthew C. from Huntington Station, New York. Congratulations to the 4 of you. And thank you to EVGA for that.
We still have one more contest?
We still have 2 more.
Two more. Wow.
So we have Jacob is going to give away a pretty awesome prize.
Yeah, I see that here. I see that in our chat.
Do you see that?
It's pretty good.
We're going to give that away during the call. And then we have our final schedule giveaway during the risk scheduling.
All right.
So we should be good there. So let me see what do we got here. Yeah, okay. So we need to add one more thing.
Looks like Jacob is getting his Skype ready.
Do you need to center this camera at all on me since I'm staying here during this segment?
Rule of thirds, man. It's fine.
Rule of thirds? Sure. I'm okay with that. I don't care.
Hey, Ken, pop me down.
Okay.
Please.
There we go.
If you enjoyed this content, consider supporting in-depth technical content by contributing at patreon.com/PCPer.